stations are tuned in to.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Strap in.
You're about to listen to
The Animal House.
Your mother's an animal. Keep the change, you filthy animal.
What do you care? You're an animal. You're an animal.
Yeah.
I'm an animal.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
I feel the need for speed.
Raving speed!
The opinions expressed by the hosts, callers, and guests are not those of Hamilton Radio, Armed Forces Radio, Raw Talk Online, 102 DLG Radio Orlando, QStarFM.com, or Animal House Radio. Some of the material broadcast on Animal House Radio may not be suitable for listeners under the age of 18. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah. Women like that. Every girl crazy about a Eggman. Diamond ring. Not a single thing. Stick pin. Careful where you stick it in. Animal House Radio with the Eggman. ZZ.
Welcome to the jungle.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Theodore Jiggett studio, it's the Animal House Radio Show. And here is your host, Carlo Valerio.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Valerio.
Hello, Bull.
Hey, great ZZ Top song, by the way, even better than that one. Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers.
Oh, yeah, that's
man.
a closet one that only the diehards would know about.
You know me, closet's my world.
Absolutely, you just came out of one.
Yeah, that's right. It came in one, too, but that's for another show.
That's where the grapes come in.
Yeah, we got to get on the Sunday shows for that conversation.
That's why his shirts all have starch.
That's it.
Well, I want to welcome everybody. Good evening to the Animal House Radio Show. We got a great show for you lined up tonight. We have a very special in-studio guest who is an old friend of the show, and he's dropping by for a visit.
He's not that old.
You know him as Jack Morrowind, the Jack of all spades, magician extraordinaire, but we know him playfully as Clifford the Big Red Magician.
Hey, Cliff.
Cliff is in the house.
Make it sound way bigger than it really is. I appreciate that.
It is. You're bigger than life.
He lives on the edge.
Cliff. Lives on the edge. He lives on the edge. I can't. Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Francesca's Italian Deli, 2119 Whitesville Road in Toms River. Number to call, 732-363-5555. And also brought to you in part by Central Termite and Pest Control. Sean Mooney and his family have been serving the Ocean County area for over 60 years with 60 years experience. Please give them a call if you have any kind of pests in your home.
If you don't, nobody with a bug up their ass, they'll come and take it out.
Yeah.
And the receptionist answers the phone, Mr. Mooney.
And Mr. Mooney, the president, I always bust his balls about that. I go, Sean Mooney, the president of the bank. He always laughs. 732-240-2066. Tonight, we have two special guests. Food, Dave. We need food. We haven't had food in 3 weeks.
Yes, we're starving.
Yeah, we're starving. Ross, you better get that kitchen straightened out. So tonight we have a very special guest continuing our Love Boat dedication. Last week, if you remember, we had Ted Lange on from the Love Boat. Well, joining us tonight, for all you sick people out there, is the ship's doctor, Adam Bricker, but you know him as the actor Bernie Capel.
Yes.
Joining us in about 6 minutes. Also, later on in the show, drummer for the band Ambrosia, Burley Drummond's going to be dropping by.
Yeah.
Please remember to follow us on our social media pages. Facebook, go to the Animal House Radio Show. Twitter is @TheRadioAnimals. Instagram is Animal House Radio, and YouTube, the Animal House Radio Show. Last week, I made a big announcement, and I want to just read it. Tomorrow night, we will be debuting on govsradio.com.
Nice.
Yes, for those of you who don't know what that is the comedy club, Governor's Comedy Club in Long Island. They've started their own radio station, and they're taking the world by storm. And they selected us to be part of their rollout, and we couldn't be prouder.
We'll teach them.
GovsRadio.com. Yeah. Tomorrow, we'll teach those. Get those nail breakers.
Send some of that storm out this way. It's been hot.
Yeah, so go to govsradio.com tomorrow night at 10 o'clock to listen to the Animal House Radio Show. I believe we're going to be putting up the Ralph Macchio interview, which was a great interview.
That was good.
And putting on the Ritz.
Putting on... Oh!
And a big hello to all our men and women at home and abroad, currently serving our country in the armed forces, and to all our veterans who have served us proudly over the years. We love hearing from you. Listen to us on Armed Forces Radio. We love hearing from you. Please keep sending your emails. Keep calling in. Just share your story, suggest a topic, drop a line, and we're going to randomly pick emails and read them live on the air.
That's
Absolutely.
We should do that. When is it on Armed Forces? On Thursdays, you said on Armed
Mondays at 3 o'clock and Wednesdays at 3 o'clock.
In the afternoon?
In the afternoon. And then I think they repeat it at 3 a.m. because of the time change.
Right, they do every 12
That's all right. Let's do it, man.
A couple of things I got to get to. Govsradio.com was a big deal. I want to say hello to our syndicated intros, 102 syndicated affiliates, 102 DLG Radio Orlando, rawtalkonline.com, QStarFM.com, and as always, you can listen to us on iHeartRadio, YouTube.
And have to subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel.
Subscribe on YouTube. You can listen to the archive shows on either iTunes
And then hit the little bell for the updates.
Or Spreaker. Yes, the little bell for the update. What did I have to get to? We got a bunch of things to get to, but I don't know if we're gonna have time. But we'll go over it later.
Bernie.
Me and Paul. I hear an echo, don't you?
No.
I'm hearing like a
Yoo-hoo!
Just an echo in the valley.
Me and Paul had an adventure. We're gonna get to our in-studio guest, Clifford the Big Red Magician. I want to talk about Dave Hodge, who we haven't seen in 3 weeks because he's been out. But at our adventure down at the Parks Casino, where he
Every time is a fun time.
He won $17, so it wasn't.
All right, no.
It wasn't a total wash tonight.
That's right.
But
You're up. You're up.
So, Ruben, when you get a chance, let's get Bernie Capel on the phone. Thank you, sir. I've got to say, you're very efficient, Ruben.
He's like a sandwich.
An efficient sandwich.
A fish sandwich.
Yeah, what? With stale bread?
It don't matter to me.
We'll be getting, we're going to catch up with Clifford. We're going to talk to Tim. We're going to tell our story. Paul, Dave's going to tell us what happened at the Larry the Cable Guy show. We had a lot of fun where he slept through the whole show but managed to laugh at every joke.
At least he made it at the right time this time, though, right?
No, he was late for the...
late for that one, too?
Late for the meet and greet.
I missed the meet and greet.
By like 4 minutes. Like 4 minutes.
You know, I'm looking at this wall, and all I see is "ni" on the end. The nights that say "ni."
Yeah, that's for the Japanese audience.
Oh, night. Domo arigato.
Hello.
The nights that say
One ring-a-ding.
That's for the Japanese audience.
Oh, nice.
Hello,
Hello, Mr. Capel.
that's me. How you doing?
Hi,
All
okay,
right.
everybody. It is 8:45. Joining us now on the Animal House Radio Show and Armed Forces Radio Network. He's an iconic actor. You've seen him on TV and in the movies, and you've loved him for many years. And he's taken a few minutes out of his busy schedule to be with us here tonight. Please welcome veteran actor Mr. Bernie Capel.
Bernie! What's up, Doc?
That's very nice. I could always use a little ego inflation. That's
We're going to do a lot of inflation, but it's all downhill from here, Bernie, so I don't know what to tell you.
We're definitely inflationary.
I understand it. That it reminds me of my tennis game. It's all downhill.
Bernie, I
Now,
can't.
I want to find out what branch of service am I talking to?
All of them.
All of them.
Armed Forces Radio is
All of them.
everywhere.
Yes, you're hitting every. You're
Worldwide.
The show is carried by all the military bases at home and abroad.
Yep.
Oh, that's so great.
And
That's so
we all
great.
love abroad.
And
wait a minute. that was my part on Love Boat. I love a lot of broads.
The Love Boat.
I'll tell you what, though, just to remind everybody that Bernie is a true Navy veteran.
That's right.
Navy veteran. So thank you for your service.
What was your job in the Navy?
Well, I had such a good time. It was peacetime Navy, and well, I just want to tell you guys something. You guys in the service right now, when you get out, wear the cap that says the branch of service you were in, and I promise you, people will be nicer to you than you ever imagined. Because I wear, when I fly, I put on my hat that says USS Iowa, and the number of the ship, and everybody says, "Thank you for your service. Thank you for the service." And I got to tell you, my service was sort of non-service. I was a librarian aboard the USS Iowa.
So
oh wow!
So you found yourself in a bind.
I hope you get used to that, Bernie, because he's going to be doing it all night.
Easy on the no. Binding is when I go to the bathroom, but that's a whole other thing.
Bernie, you mentioned.
Anyway, I'm be going to Parsippany, New Jersey,
Yes.
in October.
Yes.
Oh yes.
And I'll wear my hat on the air, to get on the airplane. Everybody says, "Oh my goodness!" They think I'm even older than I am. I'm actually 85.
Oh
And I
wow!
wear the hat, and they think I'm 95.
Well, you sound like you're 21 on the phone. God bless you.
Well, I gotta stay as young as I can. I got two young boys.
Right.
Adam is now 20. He's going to UC Santa Barbara, and Joshie, who is a maniac for the Dodgers. Yippee, the Dodgers!
All
They're
right.
on such a roll now.
That's cool.
He's 16. Little Joshie is 16, and we watch the baseball games together.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go to Dodger Stadium, and it's great fun, and I love his enjoyment of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's a good little player. He's a good little player.
Bernie, I got to ask you a question now, because Dave Hodge, one of our co-hosts, he's an Army veteran, and what you were saying before about wearing the hat and everything. A lot, I speak to a lot of servicemen, and sometimes they get annoyed from people saying that all day. Is that true, Dave? I mean, I know to a degree they're honored, but they must get it all day long, though. Like, thank you.
You mean when people say thank you for your service?
Yeah, sometimes
I don't get annoyed, but
it's overwhelming though.
I knew a prostitute like that.
Oh, that was cervix.
Holy mackerel! It's this kind of show.
No censorship here.
Hey, Bernie, you mentioned
Holy
that you wear
mackerel.
your Navy hat when you're flying. Do you remember this television commercial you did in the 60s? It was for some airline, and you had two stewardesses fawning over you, Cooper and
Oh
Ferguson.
my goodness, that was Stan Trigati, and we did it in 3 days.
Yep.
And I think it was for TWA.
Right.
We did it at LAX, and of course Stan had a major, insane, stupid problem. He was a wonderful director, but he went to London one time, and he strapped cocaine onto his legs, and he paid a very large price.
Yeah, it's expensive enough.
Yeah, that's-
professionally and everything else.
That's where they got the Midnight Express idea from.
Oh man, yeah, really.
Made for one hell of a trip.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Wow.
That was
It was.
humorous little commercial, though, Bernie. It really was.
Yeah.
Cooper
Well, it was
and
great
Ferguson.
fun. It was
Yeah.
great fun to have those two. One was Joan Van Ark, and
Right.
the other was Linda
wow.
Michael John,
Right.
and that was great fun. And of course, when one cycle ends, you can do another. I did another for United Airlines in Hawaii. The sacred pools of Hana sacred pools,
Right.
and it was supposed to be Maggie Malooly did it with me. We were
Oh, wow.
a couple going back to the place of our honeymoon, and we went into the water, and they said, "Oh my God, the water's freezing." The water was coming down over the front, from the mountain, And we were shaking, and the director said, "Will you stop shaking?" He said, "You're an actor, for God's sake, fake it. Make believe it's warm."
That's too funny. Bernie, let me ask you a question. We all know, Love Boat and Get Smart and Bewitched, but when did it start for you? When did Bernie Capel say, I want to be an actor? When did you know that's what you wanted to do?
Well, I knew I didn't want to be in the jewelry business, which I really did not care for. That was my father's business, and there was such con jobs, scams, deceit. It just did not make me happy to do that. And he was insistent that I be in the business. I didn't like it.
Right.
So when I was in high school, an English teacher said, "May we borrow your voice for verse choir?" And that was extracurricular, where you did little stories into a microphone. And then I got into the workshop at Boys High, the radio workshop, and then I got into the All City radio workshop. And I said, "This is much more fun than I have in the jewelry business. This is really nice." And then I went to NYU, and I had very formal training, how to Shakespeare training, how to be an actor.
Right.
And that was my beginning. But when I first came out here, my friend Jim Drury, who was the Virginian.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I come out of the Navy, and I'm 6 months in New York. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and it's a wash. Nothing good is happening. And Jim calls, "Bernie, I got an agent for you." And that's like a magic carpet, an agent. I flew out to California. I got an agent. Oh, my God. So I got these 8x10s and my little resume, and I come to the guy. He said he's going to be my agent.
Right.
And the guy looks at me, and he said, "Did Jim tell you I'd be your agent?" "How can I be your agent?" He says, You're not handsome enough to be a leading man. You're not ugly enough to be a heavy. I can't be your agent." He said, "Jim had no right to tell you I'd be your agent."
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
So I killed myself.
You have to go with all that trouble.
I had that kind of determination. I said, "I am going after this. I don't care." And I say to people, I said, I jumped into the pool, not even knowing if there was any water in the pool.
Right.
So one day, and I had this agent who was so awful. He was so slow. How slow was he? He was so slow, he would send me up for parts that had already been cast. That's how slow he was. So I go to CBS Television City, and I see, as I'm walking in, I see 5 guys who could have been Juan or Jesus or Julio, and I don't even think about it. I go in there, and the casting lady says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. The part you're here for has already been cast." And I said, "Okay," and I sort of schlep out of there. I said, "God, this is not my day."
Oh, wow.
As I'm walking out, this was a life-changing experience. She says, "Mr. Coppell, as long as you're here, would you like to read for Pablo?" And I got so pissed. I said, "Okay, I will take up the valuable time of this producer," his name was Buzz Blair, "and read for Pablo." And I said, "How do I do this?" And I'm looking over the script, and I said, "Let's see. Jack Parr has this piano player, Jose Melis, and Jose Menes is going on. I'll do them." I don't know if I could.
Right.
I go in there. I nail it. I got the part. Now for 3 months of my life, I'm playing Pablo, threatening blind ladies and being mean with a Latino accent.
Oh, that's
so
funny.
My first 5 years was nothing but a Latino on my favorite Martian Flying Nun, Danny Kaye show, Jack Benny show. Incredible.
Yeah.
So it was a beginning. That was how I began.
It was meant to be.
1961.
Yeah, it was meant to be, man.
It was. I don't know if it was meant to be, but it was.
Timing
the
is
harder
everything.
you work, the luckier you get. You heard of that one?
Yeah.
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 Well, timing is everything. I mean, that's what, you were in the right place at the right time.
Bernie, I got to ask you something. This is Paul Veneer. When you did Get Smart, I can only imagine how much fun that must have been with Mel Brooks, Buck Henry, Don Adams, you. I mean, all the cast. You must have had so much fun with doing that show.
When you say fun, our biggest problem was not cracking up. I'll give you an example. We're in the submarine. I had captured, this is Rub-a-Dub-Dub, 3 Spies in a Tub. So that was just the title of it.
Right.
It gets better as it goes on. So, I am in my submarine. I'm chasing the Sixth Fleet, which was ironic because that was when I was in the Navy. I was in the Sixth Fleet.
Oh,
the Iowa was in the Sixth Fleet. So I'm chasing them. I'm looking to torpedo the Sixth Fleet, and they're dropping depth charges on my submarine, and the men are getting nervous.
Right.
So I say to my men in the submarine, "You will not panic until I give the order to panic." So a depth bomb comes almost on the submarine, and I say, "Prepare to panic."
I love that show. I loved Get Smart. I did.
Great show.
I
Can
loved
tell you
Barbara
something? The
Feldon.
last one we
Oh,
did
yeah.
was in 1970,
Right.
and it's still playing around the world, especially in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
And all over the place because it's still funny.
Yes, it is.
It's
I would love to
still
see that.
Funny.
You know,
Oh,
they
it's
replay a
tremendous
lot of
fun.
the old stuff, like on Me TV, but I don't see Get Smart.
Yeah, it's on Antenna
Antenna
TV.
TV.
Is
Yeah.
it real? Okay.
Yeah, I watch it. Yeah.
Bernie,
Sometimes
with,
on Decades.
Bernie, with the Get Smart, did they, with an ensemble cast like that, did they allow ad-libbing a lot, or did you have to follow the script?
No, you don't ad lib, but if you come up with an idea that they like,
Right.
they'll use it. But you cannot fool around with
Right.
something because it may not work.
Right.
But anyway, talking about Get Smart, when I go to Parsippany, New Jersey,
Right.
Barbara Feldon, beautiful Barbara Feldon, who was Agent 99, is
Right.
going to be there with me.
Oh,
The
great.
entire-
Nice.
We're
The
there.
entire Love Boat cast.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're going to
We'll
be
be
there.
in
We're going to be there for
Parsippany.
that.
Oh boy, boy.
Yeah,
Hey, well, where are you guys now?
we're in New Jersey as well. We're
The
down,
Trenton area.
yeah, down near Princeton.
Trenton.
Yeah.
I forgive you. That's not a problem.
We don't live here. We just do the show here.
I actually tried to get Gavin on, but his reps didn't get back to me. I was going to have the both of you on tonight.
Oh well, I got to tell you about one thing about being in the Navy. One of the places we visited was Guantanamo Bay.
Right.
This was in 1956.
Right.
So we're sitting at Guantanamo Bay. You know, this was an agreement that the United States had with Cuba, that we had we leased Guantanamo Bay. So we're sitting there looking out at the bay. It's a beautiful tropical night. We're drinking Cuba Libras, and it's lovely rum and Coca-Cola, and looking out at the bay. And one of the guys says, "You know, there's some schmuck up in the hills over the country." And we laughed. I said, "If he even tries it, we'll squash him like a bug." That was Fidel Castro. So we didn't squash him. He took over Cuba for what 50 years, some odd years.
Right.
But Cuba was those islands, those tropical islands, are so beautiful, and the Cuba Libras are not too bad tasting either.
Hey, you know what, Bernie, for the both of your shows, the Love Boat and Get Smart, and I asked this of a lot of the retro stars that we have on. Besides the obvious talent of the cast on both shows, what do you think the appeal was? That you know what? Because I don't, and I'm not knocking these shows today. There's only a handful of shows that are really like reminiscent of back in the day that have that oomph in it. What was the appeal for that made America fall in love with them?
Well, let me go back to Get Smart. First, there was what was the James Bond thing? Okay, the
Right.
James Bond. So then was The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Right.
These were all reminiscent of each other.
Right.
And then Mel Brooks said, "Okay, well that's okay. Then let's continue the cycle and do Get Smart.
Right.
Get a guy like James Bond, who maybe is not too bright, but he's got a lovely lady
Right.
who sort of supports him and nurtures him." And that was Don. Now I'm going to tell you about Don Adams. Don Adams was a Marine. If there are any Marines listening, God bless you guys.
Right.
Oh, I
But
didn't
the
know that.
bullets didn't kill him. This is during World War II. But the damn cigarettes killed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if any of you guys are smoking,
No.
stop it. Because whatever pleasure you get out of smoking is not worth your life. You can write that down.
Yes, that's doctor's orders.
That's doctor's orders. Yeah.
But
Yeah, we don't smoke.
no, not at all. But
Oh,
no,
good.
I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Hey, you doing, Bernie? It's Dave Hodge here.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Pretty good. I just wanted to say I'm glad to be a part of the same fraternity as you, Magnum Pi. From one of my favorite episodes of Boy Meets World. I remember seeing you guys on there.
Oh, gee. I've done so many. I've been so great. My attitude is gratitude. I've done so many shows, and I never take it for granted, because when I first came out to California, I drove a taxi. I tried to sell Kirby vacuum cleaners. I was a stock boy.
Right.
So I have a balance.
Right.
I'm just so grateful that I entered this business and maintained in this business. I'm still working.
Right.
I'm still working. I did a Hawaii 5-0 about a month and a half ago.
Wow.
Playing a concentration camp survivor, and very poignant, very sad.
Right.
And the story there was that when I was in Auschwitz, my brother and my sister and myself were in Auschwitz, and the little commandant who was in charge of our barracks took us outside of the barracks with a gun and said to me, "You pick out either your brother or your sister for me to shoot, or I will shoot all of you."
Right.
So I had to make a choice.
Right.
This was so poignant.
Oh wow.
And I had to make a choice, and I made a choice so we all didn't get killed. But it turned out this guy was hiding in Hawaii on a different island, Molokai.
Right.
And eventually they found him, and they said, that man has done such nice things lately for the people in Molokai. And they said, no, we're interested in the horrible, nightmarish things he did in World War II.
Right.
Right.
So they nailed that guy.
Yeah.
So
Very
that was very exciting episode.
Yeah, Ted Lange, we interviewed him last week, and he said that you're doing a lot of plays now. You're doing a lot of plays? You're writing a lot of plays?
Ted Lange is, he out of all the people in Love Boat, he's the closest to me.
That's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the guy, and while we're all carrying on all of these cruises, Ted was in his cabin writing. He never stopped writing, and the most outstanding play he wrote that I was involved with was George Washington's Boy. George Washington's Boy, meaning George Washington's personal slave.
Right.
And this is all documented stuff. It's not just made up.
Oh, okay.
So it's Billy Lee is his name, and we did it at the National Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem,
Right.
Oh boy.
North Carolina, and people went crazy because Billy Lee, George Washington taught Billy Lee how to read, how to think logically, and it comes to Billy Lee and he said, wait a minute. If all men are created equal, what about us?
Right.
And talking about bigotry and all of that. When I was in the Navy in Norfolk, Virginia,
Right.
Norfolk, Virginia, that they call, a lot of sailors call it Shit City, and it really applies.
Right.
In Norfolk, Virginia, I had a pal, a black kid. I said, let's get off the base and have a bite. He said, don't you know? I said, what? This is a Jim Crow state.
Right.
I, as a black man, cannot get off the base and have a cheeseburger,
Right.
even though I'm wearing the uniform of the United States, dedicated to protect every citizen with my life if necessary.
Right.
So then I sail in the Navy to Brazil and Argentina. Well, mixed race couples are just having a nice time and nobody is making a fuss about it.
Right.
So they were so far ahead of us
Right.
with race relations
Right.
that, and when we did this, the play, George Washington's Boy in Winston-Salem, things have changed gigantically for the better because
Yeah.
mixed race couples were sitting and having a drink and having some food,
Right.
and everything was harmonious. So things have changed, and I just want to tell everybody who's listening, things have changed to a degree, but we want to keep on changing.
Oh,
Right.
we
For the
still
better.
got a long way to go. Bernie,
Yeah.
let me ask you. for a show like The Love Boat, and we've had a couple of celebrities on, like for example, we had Burt Ward on, and the popularity of Batman, all the celebrities in Hollywood were dying to come on. I mean, they didn't even have to go and seek people out. People were dying to get on the show. Was that the same thing that happened with The Love Boat? People wanted to, were like, this, all kinds of celebrities were coming out of the woodwork. Also, please put me in an episode.
You have no idea. You have no idea. Aaron Spelling was such a prince. When I say he would pay guest stars more than he had to contractually.
Right.
He would give these guest stars these lovely cabins on the ships, and everybody we had Academy Award winners. We had Ray Milland, who won the Academy Award for Lost Weekend.
Yeah.
We had
everybody.
Eva Marie Saint.
Yeah.
On the waterfront. We had Shirley Jones,
Yep.
who won the Academy Award for Elmer Gantry.
Yep.
Ernie Borgnine, who I would...
Marty.
Oscar
Ernie
winner.
Borgnine was such a sweetie pie. I'd see him at the bank. He said, "Hey, Brian, how you doing? I'm 93.
You want to laugh,
So,
Bernie? We were the last people to interview Ernest
Ernest Borgnine.
Borgnine before he passed away. Yeah.
What a lovely human being. What a sweet...
Great character.
I did McHale's Navy. So
Right, that's right.
Because of him, I got a sort of a whiplash thing, and I was a bad guy. I was a major or a colonel, and I was chasing him. And he said, "Bern, I got a great idea for you. You know, when you bang on the door comes off the hinges, and as you're banging on the door, fall with the door right down to the ground." And right now, I said to myself, if I do that, I could hurt myself. He said, go ahead. Am I going to argue with an Academy Award winner? I did it, and my neck has never been right since.
Oh.
This was a long time ago.
You got the door prize.
I love the guy. I love the guy. He was a sweetheart. With
Dave, you had a question?
Gap tooth smile.
Right.
Yeah, Bernie, it's Dave Hodge again. Quick question about all
Yeah,
those
Dave.
guests on the Love Boat. Did you have a favorite one?
Oh, did I ever?
Uh-oh.
I get this script that a woman I thought I was a woman I was married to. I gave her $500. I said, "Here, give it to a lawyer and get a divorce," because we had great sexuality, but we really didn't get along all the time. I said, "Oh, this script is so good."
Right.
So I said, "Who is going to play Samantha?" I called up the office and I said, "Juliet Prowse."
Oh,
yeah.
God.
The legs.
Come on.
The legs.
Oh,
And
God. For days.
I've had this. My wife just passed by, so I can't really say that. Yeah. Oh, she was so. I had a crush
She was
on
nice.
her forever. She'd gone with Sinatra, one of my idols, and
Right.
she was so beautiful and the most astonishing legs.
That's right.
So we
That's
had
right.
we had this scene in bed, like she's on the ship. She never did get a divorce, and now we are making whoopee. And just before the scene. Now you do these scenes. It looks like an intimate thing. Then,
Right.
but there are 50 people around with the
Exactly.
camera department, the sound department, hair and makeup, and she said, "Bernie, you know, Charles Boyd." She starts to tell me a story, and I say, "Come on, what do you want to tell me a story?" I hope that my hairpiece doesn't fall off. I hope I can remember what I'm supposed to say. She says, "You know, Charles Boyer had this scene with a very beautiful lady, and just before the scene, Charles Boyer said, 'You know, sweetheart, if possibly during this very sexy scene, I get, how you say, aroused.
Nice.
Forgive me, please. If possibly I don't get aroused, forgive me, please.'" But she was lovely.
She was beautiful,
She
yeah.
I could
so
imagine.
Sweet.
I love Juliet Prowse. I loved her.
Oh, she was gorgeous.
Go ahead,
She was
Dave.
gorgeous. And tragically, she died of pancreatic cancer
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
a few years afterwards. But it's a beautiful memory.
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah.
I had another follow-up question to that. Now, if you
Sure.
think in 2018, if they redid the Love Boat for a modern era, Not like the reboot that they did like 10 years ago. If they tried to update it a little, how do you think it would be different nowadays?
It wouldn't work.
No,
it wouldn't work with the original people. I mean, they would get young people in it, and we might pass by with walkers and wheelchairs. You know, you cannot futz around with original things. Very few redos ever do well because it's a different time.
I don't
It's
get
a
it, Bernie.
different time.
I mean,
Plus the chemistry. Yeah.
I'm just an audience. I'm just a person who watches, a viewer, and you know, and it's just, you know, I grew up watching these shows, and I believe that lightning's not going to strike twice, and. You know, they're doing all these reboots of all these shows, and I'm sitting here. You mean to tell me that there's not somebody in Hollywood somewhere, a young writer that has a fresh idea that they got to reboot Magnum PI,
Will and Grace.
Will and Grace. They're all great shows in their time. You know, I don't get it. Like, you know, leave it alone.
Don't mess with classics. Don't mess with.
I have a theory. When I first entered television in 1961, there were 3 networks plus Dumont.
Right.
Now you got hundreds of them, and they gotta fill them up.
Right.
They gotta fill them up. There was a show that I did last week called Better Things.
Right.
I'd never even heard of it. I said, well, this must be a pilot. So I get a part in there. And I said, what, is this a pilot? They said, oh, no, this is the 7th episode. I had no idea where it was. I did it. I had fun. I liked to work. But I said, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
There are so many stations, so many channels that you can't keep up. You can't keep up. There are hundreds of channels. So my kid and I like to watch the Dodgers. We know what channel that's on, and it's great.
Right.
But it's hard to keep up. It's hard to know what the hell is on. And you just say, well, nothing ever stays the same. Nothing ever stays the same.
Right.
Tim, you had a question?
Yeah, Bernie, what are your memories of working with Ted Bessel? He was one of my favorites as a child, and I know That Girl was obviously a classic show.
I was doing That Girl. That sounds worse than it actually is.
Yeah, don't let your wife walk by again.
No, not in this part of
Honey,
Jersey.
I'm only kidding, sweetheart. I'm kidding. I want to get off the couch tonight, if you follow my drift.
Yeah.
When I was doing Get Smart, I was doing That Girl at the same time. Sometimes I do both in the same week. It was a very schizophrenic period for me.
Right.
So I said, oh my goodness. Ted Bessel was an insecure actor, just like all actors are insecure. And he said, Bernie, did you go to Daly's? I said, yes, I went to Daly's. Did my eyes look like they were too close together? I said, no, you look fine. Actors are always worrying about what they look like.
Right.
Me, I don't care because I'm a character actor. Who cares what a character actor looks like? You know, by the way, on Bewitched, which was also tremendous fun, and everybody had a crush on Elizabeth Montgomery. She was gorgeous, head to foot. One time she says to me, and I'm playing. By the way, my favorite was when I played the 100-year-old apothecary. It was 2.5 hours in makeup. If I did it today, I'd sit in the makeup chair, and the makeup guy would say, what do you need? You're fine. But anyway, Elizabeth comes up to me. I'm playing the hippie with the big afro, and she says, Bernie, whispers in my ear, would you like a drink? This is while we were shooting. I said, but we had a little break. So I said, with you? She said, yeah. I said, great. So I go into her dressing room and I have a drink with her, and she says, "What do you want? Would you like another?" I said, "Yeah, well, sure. Hey, well, fine.
As many as it takes."
And then it hits me. I said, "You idiot!" I said to myself, I said, "I have other scenes to do later on today, and I'm a little schnockered." And I said, "Oh, is this my last day in the business?" So I had 14,000 cups of coffee, and I was okay. But I mean, that's a very foolish thing to do, is to drink when you have more things to do, because the camera picks up everything.
Well, she could have just switched the nose and made you sober.
She might have done that. but I don't think it would work in the light of reality. But she was gorgeous, and again, she died of cancer.
I know.
So maybe show business is destructive to some people. I don't know.
We actually had the daughter on, Erin Murphy, who's very full grown now and very, very attractive, and she's the sweetest pie, and she, used to tell us behind the scenes stuff, and it was just amazing. Bernie, you had an amazing career. Is there anything?
Please don't put that in the past tense. Okay?
No, I stand correct. You have an amazing career. Is there anything left that you still want to do? Like, do you have a bucket list career-wise that you still feel you need to do or would like to do?
I just want to keep working.
Right.
I just want to keep working because it's fun, and I got 2 kids, my 20-year-old boy and my 16-year-old boy. I got to feed these little characters. I got a lovely wife who is not passing by at the moment, and she shut the door, and God knows how it's going to be tonight. But anyway, I just want to keep on working. Because
well, you're definitely potent.
Sorry, what?
You're definitely potent.
What? I know you said something, but I didn't know.
I said you're definitely potent.
Yeah.
Well, here I am at the age of 85, and I got these 2 young kids.
Right.
God bless you.
And well, she's very young. She's 14, my wife. No.
It's a school night. It's a school night.
Keep your eye on Trump's Twitter now.
Make sure she does her homework before she goes to bed.
Oh, yeah. No, she's wonderful. She's even taking piano lessons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, she can do everything. She can do everything.
Bernie,
I don't need Google. My wife knows everything.
Bernie, who's going to be at the Chiller convention as far as cast-wise? It's going to be you, Ted.
Me, Ted, Gavin, and Jill Whelan.
Oh.
Lauren Tweez is not going to be there.
Right.
She's got something else to do. But also Barbara Feldon, God love her, is going to be there. And
cool.
She is one of the most brilliant, independent human beings in the world. Whenever I go to New York, I see Barbara, and I say, Barbara, tell me the truth. Wouldn't you love to do another series?
Right.
She says, no, I just like it here in New York, and I like to read my poetry at the Y, and when you do a series, there's so much sitting around. I said, Barbara, when you're sitting around, they're paying you.
That's
you
right.
could read a book, you could write a book, you could do whatever you want. She says, no, I don't want another series.
Yeah, she doesn't have the drive to do it anymore, that's all.
She wrote a book,
Right.
Living Alone and Loving It.
Oh, wow.
I can't wait to the Chiller. I'm dying to just walk up to you and shake your hand. And
Yeah, we
and
can't wait
meet
to see you.
'cause I've enjoyed you.
I can't wait. When you come up to me and want to shake my hand, I will say to you very lovingly, get out of my way.
Get off the boat.
I'm kidding.
No,
that's going to be great fun. It's going to be. I did it once before, and it was lovely. People come from Pennsylvania. They come from New York. They come from upstate, downstate.
Yeah.
Jersey, all over the place.
Oh, yeah, those are amazing. And you know what I like, though, especially nowadays with all the nonsense going on, it's great that you can have an event where you can go and see people who you admired for so many years and take a picture and, just reflect a little and say, oh, my God, I grew up watching you.
I know that song.
I know that song. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought here now.
Let's go to the thing.
It's good in these days and times we can have this
Go to
much
Chiller.
fun meeting people.
Yeah, and it's just it's an amazing thing.
It's a great event. They run a great event there, too.
They really do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. And you know what? One of the main things people come up and say is, because this goes back years, he said, I watched Love Boat with my grandmother, who's no longer alive, and it was so warm and so sweet. We had our popcorn, and we were watching it, and the family was all together, and it was very sweet and lovely.
Yeah.
So that's a memory that people have. And, of course, there was no cutting-edge drama because there were happy endings, like Tom Bosley. He comes on, he's in a wheelchair. We call it page 58 resolutions. On page 58, he's been in the wheelchair the whole time with some disease. He doesn't even know the name of it. And all of a sudden, on page 58, he stands up.
Right.
He said, "What happened?" He said, they cover the illogic, and they say, "It's a miracle." He stood up. Oh, boy.
When we spoke to Ted last week, it was funny because I had asked him about, at the time they were shooting Love Boat, he was 30 years old, and they gave him Janet Jackson as a love interest, and she was 17. I was like, Ted, in New Jersey, 17 will get you 30.
Ted behaved very nicely, but the odd thing, we went all over the world, and wouldn't you know, as a black man, every time we went through customs, whose luggage did they search? Ted's.
Oh,
every time. And he was such a cool guy.
Right.
He just stood back and said, "Hey, knock yourself out. Please go right ahead."
Right.
Oh, well, see,
but
that's
this
class.
is one of the things in our country. They do this strange thing. They suspect black people, and it's not very nice. It's not very nice.
No, it's not.
Meanwhile, you had all the coke strapped to your leg.
Why bring that up now?
No statute of limitations.
Yeah, the coke sniffing dog just latched onto the leg, and it was all over.
I mean, Stan Dragati was so brilliant. He was such a marvelous director. Couldn't he understand that once he goes through that thing where they a metal detector, doesn't he know the damn thing is going to go off and they're going to search him? So he had to go to. He went to jail in London for doing that. It was just a very careless thing.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry that happened because he was a marvelous director.
Right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Bernie, I can't tell you how amazing it was to speak to you. I mean, I could sit here all night with you, and I would love to do down the road a part 2 with you, and anytime.
What makes you think I want to sit around with you for such a long time?
He doesn't want to sit around me. Doesn't want to shake my hand.
I was never that crazy about you to begin with.
I'm batting 1,000 here today.
I know. Well, let me just say this to your guys who are listening in the service, whatever branch you guys are in. I want to send out my love to you and my respect, and thank you so much for your service.
Yep.
Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, and you. I tell you what, we're going to come out to Chiller.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
And it's amazing. And
when you come out to Chiller, don't bother me, okay?
We'll just wave as we walk by.
Yes.
I'm going to be very busy.
We're going to bring
with people I like, not you clowns.
We're going to bring the drug sniffing dogs. Then you'll change your tune.
Carlo, remind the
listeners. My drugs.
Yeah.
Thanks for the warning. I appreciate that.
Yeah, if you, for everybody that's listening, and if there's any of our servicemen or women who are going to be home on leave or in between deployments, the Chiller Convention's in October. I believe it's the end of October.
It's the Sheridan.
The Sheridan Parsippany. And Bernie Capel is going to be there with Ted Lange and
Gavin McLeod.
Jill Whalen.
And
Barbara Feldon, and a whole slew of these actors and actresses that you grew up watching on TV. It's a good time.
Yep.
Go out there and say hi to Bernie and say, "Hey, I heard you on the Armed Forces Radio," and he'll tell you, "Get out of my face."
Hey, Bernie, can you
bring some cash?
Hey, Bernie, could you do us a favor and do a station ID for us before you get off?
Okay, sure.
Just introduce yourself any way you want, and then say you're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Network.
The what network?
It's too much. The Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Network.
Okay.
Anytime you want.
Hi, this is Bernie Capel. You're listening to the Animal House Radio on Hamilton Network.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bernie. God bless. Anytime you want to come on, you have an open door, my friend.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun, guys. A lot of fun, and it was a lovely thing that we're doing for the guys who are risking their lives to keep us safe.
You've made them forget where they are for a little while, and you brought fond memories to them. So we thank you as well.
Yes, thank you.
All the best to Cooper and Ferguson.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
the best, guys. All the
you
best.
too.
Okay.
Bernie Capel, give him a round of applause.
Yay.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more show. Don't go nowhere. This is the Animal House Radio Show.
Okay, guys. Thank you. It was fun.
I always make them short because they
Thank
always
you, Bernie.
Thank you. Okay. Bye now. Bye.
It's much easier for them to remember.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio pre-diabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Hey everybody, Rachel Ray here. Nothing brings a bigger smile to my face than cooking up a big meal for the whole family and lots of friends. But there's not enough room at my table for the 17 million kids in our country who struggle with hunger. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food to give hope to hungry kids. But they can't do it without your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You look nice. How was work?
Well, it was 4th period, civics.
The kids were giving me the 3rd degree. Was a UFO seen hovering over Washington, D.C.? Was a fisherman attacked by a 320-pound shrimp? They'd been bitten by the fake news bug, all right, and it was holding on like a driver's ed student to a steering wheel. How was I gonna get a bunch of wide-eyed kids to wise up about what they see on the internet? Then it hit me. Like a dodgeball on field day. The name of the game was News Snoops. Each student got an article and 2 minutes to decide if it was credible or a fake. They were able to use fact-checking sites to get the cold, hard truth. Now the little hotshots are even teaching their gullible grannies a thing or two about phony news. But how was your day?
Pretty good. I got a new title today. Office Birthday Party Planner.
Oh, fun.
Teachers just have better work stories. If you want a creative job worth talking about, head to teachdfw.org. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
General public.
I got lost in the time. All right, we are back here.
Yeah,
on
that was
the
a great
Animal
interview.
Hospital.
He was great.
That was great. I really.
He's a good guy.
You know what the best part about these shows is, and watching like my stepsons. Even though it makes us feel old, but I got to see them firsthand. The music from the 80s, I heard it when it was just breaking on the radio.
Right.
And to me, that's the greatest feeling in the world, even though it dates us. But he was a great interview.
I'm like Cliff. I like the backstories. I like all the
Oh,
stories.
yeah. I'd love to hear like the little, absolutely.
Yeah.
So joining us in studio is our dear friend, Clifford the Big Red Magician, but professionally he's known as Jack Morrowind, the Jack of all spades. And Jack, I want to thank you for coming in today.
I love when I get to come in.
And,
Thank you for having me.
He's going to be...
How was Congress today?
Was it?
Oh, wrong Jack. Never mind.
Oh, my God. Jack is going to be doing the Ren Fair coming up in Lakewood.
Yep.
What's the dates on that? Do you know?
Dates are September 15th and 16th.
It's next Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's at Pine Park in Lakewood, and tickets are only $12 for adults, $2 for kids, and under 6 is free. So it's not expensive to get in.
We can get in. We can get in under 6.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I'm
I
under
was
6
born
foot.
on leap year,
I'm
so-
5'10". I'm under 6.
Born on a leap year. So you're going to be closing the show this year. That's
This
a big
year,
deal
yeah,
for-
there's a couple things that went on, and I can't get too much into it. But
Are they paying you closing money?
I will leave that be silent. But no, it's a lot of fun. I actually
Yes,
have
but in
more time this
middle-aged
year.
money.
Now you're going to be doing, that's actually where I met Cliff at the Ren
Renaissance,
Fair.
right?
And so you're going to be doing something totally different this time, right?
This year I am because I took on a persona of a wizard at a Ren Fair, and because I'm closing and they are integrating a couple different things. They have where you can kind of dress up as like they had a time traveler day, so
Right.
people would dress up in the steampunk thing, and that's my whole.
Right.
You guys have seen the outfit, so
right.
I said, well, if we get to do that, I said, I'm going to be me.
Right.
So I'm gonna perform a bigger style show, similar to what I've done. People have seen me at Six Flags.
So you can be naked.
Yeah, no, that's the late show. That's after the park closes.
That'll close the show, all right.
Yeah, that's.
Where'd that card go?
I don't know how we hide them.
Try to find it. No sleeves.
And then he pulls out the bouquet.
Hey, remember, Cliff, remember the first time we had you on the show and you were doing tricks live on Facebook, and then Jerry Petito got like all nasty when she couldn't find where you did. She goes, I know where it is. Hey, she couldn't find it.
Well, that's the thing is, and people who are and I love Jerry, and the thing with that is people want to be a part of it. And there are those that want to be a part of it just because they can't stand the
Being
puzzle.
fooled. They don't like being
And the
fooled.
thing is, that's why I don't present it in that way, because I don't like the magicians that do it, and it's you have to be superior, and they get a complex. And not every magician. Matter of fact, most of the magicians I've met are not like that.
Right.
But like they said in the movie Now You See Me, the original
Love
one,
that
they said,
movie. Love that movie.
great movie, and they said, the magician has to be the smartest person in the room. And I went, that's not true. I've never been the smartest person ever. The only time I've been the smartest person, I get mad because there's no one else for me to prove it. So there's no... the thing is, you have to be able to interact with your audience in a way that they're going to actually want to watch what you're doing.
Right.
And I want to present it more in a way of, hey, come check out this cool thing, not... hey, there's this puzzle you have to figure out, or I can do this and you can, and I don't want
to get
anyone...
this over on you, minion.
Yeah, and I've seen magicians that do that. Like, haha, I got you. Like, no,
Right.
that's not why you learn. This is an art. It's a performance.
Right.
You're not entertaining people by necessarily making them feel lesser.
What
they
was
just get mad.
what was the most problematic audience member that you've had, or what they did? They were just like, I mean, not even the fact that they were drunk, but they were just like pissed off that they couldn't figure out what you were doing, or
It was this guy, Dave
most
Hodge, who
believe
kept
it or
asking
not,
him to make the student loan debt disappear.
The most problematic, because you could deal with it, dealing with a heckler, and sometimes it actually it'll improve the show. Sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
It depends on how we as performers, comedians,
how
like,
do
we
you
deal with
handle
it.
it though personally? Like, do you,
It's definitely situational.
Yeah,
there was
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
there was a one situation where I couldn't. Six Flags wanted to change the show, and I tried to refuse, but it was their venue. There was the show was written a very specific way. In the very beginning of the show, I borrow a ring, I vanish the ring. Person gets it back at the end of the show. I have a whole presentation and the reason.
Right.
And the joke I make is, I vanish the ring. I said, there's two reasons I do that. I say, one, it gets me back to my roots. I said, but two, if everybody else leaves, she's going to stay. So now she's thoroughly invested.
Right.
Well, it was her engagement ring. And apparently her husband did not know that she had willingly volunteered the ring. And he came back in the middle of the show, and he was pissed. And he caused a whole big thing after the show, thankfully. But he was mad at her for loaning the ring.
He was pissed over $200.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. The inside, there's insignia. They had the engraving. It said TIN. I don't know what his problem was.
that's high quality zirconia. What are you
Over
doing?
hill, over dale.
I mean, get another box of Cracker Jack. You'd be all right.
Believe it or not, it was last year. There's two. It was a kid that wouldn't shut the hell up.
Right.
One was at one event, and I managed to get him to be quiet. But it was the Renaissance Fair, which is probably one of my proudest moments as a performer. It was one of the moments you get away with something that you don't think you should have.
Right.
And I do. I might have even done it here, where I have the ropes that tie around my neck. They pass through my neck, and what I do is the ring that I vanish appears tied on the knot, tying the knot.
Right.
So this one kid, he wouldn't shut up, and I kind of ignored it. His parents told him to be quiet. Other people, and this kid wouldn't be quiet. So I get the ropes, and before I do the whole thing, I say, if you see this, do not, don't attempt this at home. This is about serious. I don't want you to go home and tie ropes around your neck. Be like, well, I saw the magician do it. Like, no, you didn't. Don't do this at home.
Right.
It could be dangerous. So I get the ropes. I'm tying them. My neck is getting tighter. My face is turning red. The kid is going, it's not around his neck. It's not around your neck. I said, yeah, no, because the tightening of my skin doesn't prove that. People on the stage holding rope it's around his neck. His parents going, it's around his neck. Shut up. So I stopped. I said, hey, remember the part where I said, don't do this at home?
Oh, no.
He goes, yeah. I said, forget I said that. As soon as you go home, immediately try to do this trick.
Oh, God.
The whole fair lost it. The parents are laughing at the kid, and I went, well, if the parents are laughing at you, I just got away with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was, and again, that was situational. Would I say that under, I was able to understand, the audience would have understood it was a joke.
Right.
I really don't want anyone to get hurt, but you handle it in that way.
I have a solution for problematic kids.
Kid was all
at
choked
the
up.
fairs. Benadryl lollipops. That'll.
You ever see the nap time spray? The ad for nap time spray?
No, what is that?
It was a spoof commercial. If you look up on YouTube, nap time spray, and they're spraying it, and the one goes, and doctors can recommend it, and the one doctor goes, this is chloroform. Nap time spray. It shows the parents spraying a rag, covering the kids. They'll go in and nap instantly.
The Joker used to use that.
Tim, you use chloroform, right?
Oh, yeah, many a wife.
Smell my new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me how this smells.
Yeah, like,
so I'm
never
glad.
mind. Never mind.
Does this smell funny to you?
We haven't seen you in a while, so I'm glad you came in.
No, I miss being here. It's a little. I was like, there's people not here, and then
Yeah, it's always different. Every time you come in, it's like pretty soon the stuff's gonna be on the ceiling and. It's going to be crooked like the Batman hideaways, the criminal hangouts.
We all customized.
Before you know it, we'll be in the new building.
So I got to tell you a funny story. About 3 weeks ago, we get tickets, because Larry the Cable Guy was on our show. He's a great guy. So me, Dave Hodge, and Paul, No Filter Paul, we go down there. And I got to tell you something. Dave... I admire him in so many ways. Number one, because he served our country. Number two, because he's a super dad. He's got to play both parents. He makes sure his kids are fed. He works a full-time job. If there's a comedy show, he's there. I don't know where he gets his energy from, and he takes care of his kid, and I admire that. So I said, we got to be at Parks Casino. The first time we went there, I said it's in. I gave him the address. I said whatever Bethlehem. He goes to where?
Well, no, the first time all you said was the casino.
He went to the wrong place.
Casino, Pennsylvania. I know where to go because I was just by the one in Bethlehem, like a week before that.
So he comes in with the halfway the show's almost done.
Yeah, he's going the opposite way. I texted him. I said, Dave, where are you? He says, I'm on 78. I'm like, 78? That's the opposite way. The casino is in Ben Salem. So he
Oh,
must have
geez.
saw that when I texted him and just, looked at it real quick and said, okay, Bethlehem. So he's like halfway the other
He's
way.
in central Pennsylvania. We're in southern
We
Pennsylvania.
were going to see Ron White. And
But after that, I had no traffic.
Yeah. So he gets to Ron White with about 15 minutes left of the show. He gets to hear the Mamie Eisenhower joke.
Right.
And luckily, because Ron does his meet and greets at the end of the show, we got to say hello. But we're waiting. Now, the Larry the Cable Guy, he did it before the show, and there was only like 8 people in the whole meet and greet.
Wow,
And-
that's all?
Yeah, it was a low key. It wasn't.
That's
He wasn't
surprising.
really doing them, but because I'm friends with Maggie and he's been on the show, they extended us a courtesy. So Dave gets there like me and No Filter Paul just had walked out. Once you're out of the meet and greet, you're not getting back in because
Right.
that's it. They disappear. And I was like, and I even tried to ask the guy to go back in, but he couldn't do it. So Dave goes, Paul, you're a computer wizard. Can you Photoshop a picture in with me?
Why not? It worth a shot, right? I figured the one that you and him were with you just replace you and me.
There you go. That's it. I don't have no problem with that. I'll do it. But you got to pose like that. Let's take a picture and
Yeah.
we'll do the Photoshop. you know?
Exactly.
But that was a fun show. But it's funny though. I hear Dave laughing, but I swear to God, he was snoring. He's like this, and he's like.
It was like Shay that time.
The jokes were he was dreaming, but what he was dreaming was
I know.
actually being
It
at the
synced up.
comedy show. It was.
What did you think though? Was good? The set?
I had a good time.
I
yeah.
loved it. I had fun.
That opening guy was a lot better than I thought he was. It
Who was
gonna
the
be.
opener?
Oh,
Remember?
I can't remember. It was okay.
It wasn't great, but it was
he
good.
He didn't wow me, but he did his job. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
he did
right.
his
He
job.
definitely did his job at least.
Yeah. So, me and Paul, Sunday, Paul has a gig out in
my
Maryland. Because me and Paul, every like 3 or 4 months, we go to this place out in
outside of Baltimore. Outside of Baltimore.
What is it, Parkland?
Yeah, Parkville.
Parkville, Maryland, and
Yeah.
the place called Sully's Comedy Club.
It's a great place. I love it.
It is. It really is. So I guess the people that have come to see Paul over the years, they're doing like this Memorial Labor Day barbecue. So it's
Yeah.
a private party. Paul's Astrovan passed away this year.
So I rent now. I rent
So now he rents
Enterprise because my cousin works for Enterprise.
I mean, this is one of those things that like the Labor Ready uses to like transport people over. It's
gigantic. I'm
too
used to the
big, man.
Astrovan. This thing's too big. You
And
know?
through the whole trip, like he's making turns and his cases are
Flying all over the place.
And then he's like, and he's just trying. He's like, son of a bitch! And finally, he pulls over. He's wedging everything in.
Yeah.
So
we finally get to the place.
We get there. Now the guy's got a huge little deck with a pool area, fenced in,
Big giant yard.
but it's all grassy and it's soaking wet.
And he goes, yeah, just park right over here. And you could, right where you set up, you can pack right up to where you set up. I go, well, the grass is a little wet. I'm probably going to rip up your lawn. He goes, no, don't worry about it.
Don't
Everybody
care.
parks here. So I go, and I'm almost to where I have to go, and I get stuck in the mud. And I can't get out. I'm trying to rock it. I can't. It doesn't even move. I'm just getting deeper and deeper.
It's
The
like a
back wheels.
turtle on its back. It ain't going nowhere.
So Jim, the guy who hired me, goes, well, I'll push you out. I go, okay. He goes, backs up. He gets his truck. He backs up, and as he's pushing me, I go, oh no. I go, what happened? He goes, he pushed in the whole door, the whole back
because
door.
the car
It's a rental.
Because it wasn't even. His bumper crumpled the back door of the van.
I'm
Like,
going,
just
oh no.
crumpled it.
And he goes, I'm really sorry. I said, it's all right. It's not, what are you gonna do? You know, I'm still stuck in the mud. So he gets a rope.
Yeah.
He gets a rope, ties it to the thing, and then goes under the truck. And he pulls it, and the rope breaks.
It snaps instantly.
I'm still stuck in the mud. So he goes. My wife has a chain in the car, so he gets a chain, and he pulls me out. He pulls me out a little bit backwards, you know, and I get stuck in the mud again. He pulls me out again. I go, and I go a long way all the way around. And I get back
Yes.
to it, and I go to set up, and I get ready to do a sound check. Nobody, people just starting to come. It's not
Right,
busy
he's
yet.
starting to unpack.
So I set everything up, and I've used 2 mics, one on the piano and one at the stand-up. The stand-up one's not working. I'm hitting and going. There's nothing coming out. What the hell's going on here? Turns out my channel died. My channel 1 died. Like if I have 8 channels, I'm fine. So I just switch channels. Now my reverb's not working. I'm going, what the hell else is going to go wrong
Like
here?
the Twilight Zone
Reverb's not
episode.
working. I finally get the reverb. I finally get that working. Everything works good, and the show goes fantastic.
Right.
Show's great. And then we leave. We're going home.
And
There was
we-
something else happened too.
Yeah, we stop at a Wawa.
Oh, okay.
And
We're only 10 miles from home.
Yeah, we're right over here in Manchester.
Lakehurst.
Yeah, and I said, Paul, stop at the Wawa because Gisela wanted me to bring home water.
And it's not your normal Wawa. You don't go straight in. You have to go like around.
So we
I
go,
go in.
And we come out and
come
we're
out,
driving,
and I make the right hand turn, like I would like.
Yeah.
And I go, I'm driving, and we're both going, not saying anything yet for a
I'm
while.
like, Paul.
But I know as a mate, I'm saying it doesn't look like the same road. He's thinking the same thing, but we're not saying nothing. I go, where the hell's the Lakehurst Circle?
Because usually if you go down 70 for a few minutes, you hit the Lakewood Circle.
I was right there.
I'm like, Paul, we've been driving a while.
Yeah, what's going on?
We almost wound up down by here. We
Yeah,
were 30 miles out of the way.
I say to him, put on the we call it the
GPS.
I want your GPS because my phone's dead. I can't, so I use my phone. Put the GPS. I'm going. We're 15 miles away from Lake. What the hell happened? So we follow the GPS, and it takes us 40 miles out of our way.
Jeez. This guy,
I'm 40
will
miles out
not-
of my way.
He doesn't want nothing to do. He'd rather drive
Two
around in
comedians.
circles than use the GPS.
Well, that's why, and I proved my point. GPS sucks.
Two comedians driving down a road.
I know,
Neither
but-
one wants to say they're in the wrong direction.
Oh my
where
God.
everything goes wrong and nothing's right in the twilight.
And I get home. I finally get. I'm going to try to bang it out. I can't bang it out. I get home. And my kids are having a party. There's kids everywhere at my house.
Oh my God. Now the funniest thing, we're driving home, and Paul packed his equipment in a hurry, so he has this proper harmonica, and every time he
hit a bump.
the thing would go. It would just
In the
go
back
off.
of the truck, I'm going, fucking shit.
It happened once. It happened twice. We're laughing, but he goes, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" This thing kept going. Every time he would like shift the car, it would just start going.
Nice.
We were just like, got to the point where we were just laughing. This is just so fucking ridiculous.
Oh my God!
It's like the sound of a tuba playing when a fat guy's walking by.
It was like the perfect ending to a perfect day. But
thank God the show went great.
The good news is that the
Enterprise was nice.
they
They
said
didn't charge me
he's
for the door.
covered. He's got collision, so he was oh my God, thank God.
Thank God.
I was like, Paul, just park it and tell him you don't know what happened.
No, I can't do that. I couldn't do that. It's not me.
That's when you go, you do that, you go by the mall, and then you go back like a half hour later, file a police report. Look what they did to my car out here.
The funny thing about it was crumpled, but there was
Now
no
we can't do that again.
There was no scratches because it wasn't hit.
No scratches or paint damage.
That's what they called me the next day. They go, what happened? There's no scratches, but you didn't get hit. I go, no, I got pushed in. Got pushed in, didn't get hit.
I tell you, he should
What,
go.
was it a stool? Was it like a stool? Oh!
I can't take it.
I lucked
Oh,
out.
My God.
We got a phone?
I think we got Tim. You're gonna lead this for us.
Yes. Do we have a phone?
Hello.
Actually, I'm
Hey,
good.
Carlo? Is this
Hey,
Carlo?
all right, Burley.
Yes, hi. How are
Burley
you?
drumming.
All right, everybody. It is 9:45. Joining us now on the phone is an iconic musician from the band Ambrosia. Is checking in with us for a few minutes. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Burley Drummond.
Yeah.
All right.
Ta-da!
What a great name for a drummer. Drummond. I love it.
I love it too.
I know. But, some nights I got to admit I'm barely drumming.
Burley, you've been with us on Hamilton Radio before, not necessarily with Animal House. Now it's a major step up being with the Animal House show. Welcome back to Hamilton
Why?
Radio.
Thank you for having me. I'm very, very excited to be here.
I think it was 2 summers ago was the last time we had you. And what was the Philadelphia area show you were doing? I actually went to the show, having spoken to you on the air. That wasn't at the band, was it?
No, I don't know. It might have been one of those rock yacht type of
Yeah,
events
right.
or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wonderful. And that was all, inspired, well, first of all, by the music I heard from Ambrosia many years ago, and then talking to you on the phone. And, most people will remember just what the hits. But the band kind of changed directions after those hits, and you guys took a totally different sound on almost. That was pretty cool.
Well, thank you. Actually, it's like bookends. When we started our first album in 1975, the first 2 albums were more prog-oriented. We were America's answer to Yes and Genesis and King Crimson.
Right.
And then we had kind of more of the R&B, Doobie Brother, Mike McDonald type hits.
Right.
You're the only woman, How Much I Feel, Biggest Part of Me. But then we went back to the prog because somebody from the record label requested it. But yeah, so we've done it all pretty much.
The prog was awesome, especially to hear it in person. And
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, but I mean it sincerely. And then remembering some of those albums, Life Beyond L.A., that was major here, especially in the East Coast where we're at.
Yeah.
It was major back in the day, too.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
I know that the East Coast in particular, really likes it when we play more of the prog material.
Oh, definitely.
Well, prog was very big on the East Coast.
Yeah.
In fact,
that's great. That's great for us because that's
Yeah.
our favorite thing to play.
Right.
Sure,
especially as a drummer, yeah.
And as a result of that, I kind of became more of a fan of the progressive sound than I did for the nostalgia of the old, pop type of hits you guys were doing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we still, about twice a year, we get called to headline a prog festival.
Yeah.
And they'll ask us, it's really interesting. And they'll ask us, hey, we really want you guys to play all your songs, but don't play the hits, please.
Good.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The hits paid your bills for you to play the prog stuff, so that's good.
Well, it took us in. It got us in some other doors. Let's put it that way.
Right,
but,
right.
We've always, our hearts have always been with the prog material. So,
right.
Yeah.
Burley, this is Carlo. When it came to the writing of the songs, was it a collaborative effort, or just one person wrote it, or did you guys get in a room and just say, and just jam out and experiment on stuff, or?
Yeah. No. Well, all the above. I mean, we used to practice get together and practice 5 or 6 hours a day, but most of that was jamming. We would just jam, and whatever happened, and we'd all record it and go home and pick the best parts. Like if something magical happened, we tried to build a song around it.
Right.
So somebody would bring something back in, and we would build from there. Some songs were more complete than others. Like, say, I did Living on My Own. That was more complete. And then Joe added the B section. But, Biggest Part of Me was mostly Dave. But the early prog stuff was really sitting in a room and throwing ideas out and, piecemealing a piece together.
Oh, wow.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it was fun.
Also,
it's fun.
Also, Burley, this is Paul. I see that you were born in Fort Leavenworth. How the hell did you get out?
Were you paroled at an early age? Well, I'll tell you a funny story. My parents met in Japan.
Right.
Both in the Army. I'm an Army brat.
Right.
And so they met in Japan, and I think I was consummated on Mount Fuji by my dad.
Somebody was mounting somebody.
Yeah, I was made in Japan. So, I think my dad got in trouble and was sent to Fort Leavenworth, and I was born in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas.
That's fun.
So
that is
there
so
you
funny.
go.
I've never met anybody or heard of anybody that was born. That's got to be an original.
Yeah.
So you were conceived on Mount Fuji, so at least you had good food. Well, you had good hibachi up there, right?
Yeah. The air was good. Yeah.
How did they come up with the name Burley? That's such a cool, different name. Was it named in someone in the family?
I think if you were in Scotland, it would be pronounced more Burley.
Oh, okay.
But I think it means meadow by the mountain. It's a Scottish name.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah,
and
Mount Fuji
my
makes
family,
sense.
my family named Drummond is Scottish.
Right.
But originally, I think it was Dryman when it came from maybe Germany.
Right.
But the Drummonds were famous because we hid Bonnie Prince Charles from the English.
Wow.
So we were very sneaky people. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow.
That's why you're the drummer. You're hiding in the back.
I hide in the back. Yeah.
Now, Burley, you
cause all the trouble.
Ambrosia was obviously a national touring band. Are you still touring at all, or from a national perspective?
Yeah, I think in some ways we're touring more now.
Right.
I mean, we're not doing 6 months in a bus anymore.
Right.
But but we do we do like 2 or 3 a weekend. We'll go out, maybe 3 weekends a month. So we go out and we I guess you call that weekend warriors kind of. But so we'll fly to the East Coast, do 2 or 3 gigs, and fly home. And it's great now. It's actually better now,
right?
Because we all have families and we all have things that we've built up. Like I have a production studio and a recording studio.
Right.
My wife and I have a band. So when we go do Ambrosia, it's kind of like it's always like a little reunion,
Right.
Even if we do it every week, it's like, hey, how you been? Oh wow, let's play,
Right.
So it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, you're more mature now too. You're enjoying it more now. It's not a party. It's not just a party anymore like it was when you're younger.
Burley,
well,
serious.
I wouldn't say we're more mature, but yes, it is.
Burley, let me ask you: when did you know that music is what you wanted to do? How young were you?
Well, a funny thing happened to me because I'm an Army brat. My father was eventually stationed in Ankara, Turkey, and and so I spent like about 3.5 years in Ankara, Turkey. And one year, I was pretty young. One year I went to a bazaar with my mother, and I got separated from her. And I ended up in the back of this tent where they were about 5 guys were hand hammering these copper plates spinning around.
Right.
And the synchronicity and just the kind of trance-like quality they had, I guess I was missing for like about 3 hours. I thought it was like 10 minutes, but
Right.
my parents told me. And ever since then, I've been attracted to the percussive arts.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So that took me into orchestra and mallets and for timpani and marimba, xylophone, vibraphone.
So you were inspired by a walk.
He's between a walk and a hard place.
Walk in the hard place. I like that.
Yeah.
Who was your biggest influence musically, would you say?
Well, I've had so many that it is really hard to say. But if I had to pick one, it would be Elvin Jones, the drummer for John Coltrane.
Oh gosh, yeah. Gosh, yeah.
When I saw him, I just went to another planet.
Right.
It was just so amazing.
I know when you feel that inspiration like that, it just stays forever.
Yeah.
Sure it does.
Yeah.
It
But
changes your path.
that was the beauty of Ambrosia, is that we had 4 guys with pretty distinct influences, we shared everything. The Beatles, the Beach Boys, Traffic.
Right.
Traffic was a huge influence.
Yeah.
But I had the jazz and the ethnomusicology, and Chris, our organ player, had the blues.
Yeah.
Joe was like a singer-songwriter. That was his kind of thing. And Dave, was the pop guy.
Right.
So you put us all in a blender,
Right,
and it came out Ambrosia.
You meshed well. How did the name Ambrosia come about?
They were eating dessert.
Well, originally it was the nectar that kept the Greek gods immortal.
Right.
So we thought, our music's going to be immortal. So this is
No, you're right. It is though. It sure
what it
is.
is, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It really
I
is.
appreciate that.
The satellite
Thank you. Yeah.
stations, for instance, like Satellite XM, you guys are on there all the time, so it
Yeah.
is immortal.
Oh, thanks.
I don't think you can.
It's funny. We have a brand new song called Satellite. I gotta
Oh
have to
wow,
play
that's
that for you.
synchronicities, Tim.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't think you can turn on a radio and not hear an Ambrosia song at least within an hour or two.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, thank God for that.
Burley,
Yeah, exactly.
I know you guys are touring and you're doing some dates. Any plans to do an album in the near future?
Yeah, we've started. We've got a couple songs down, and we want to keep going. That's kind of a problem, because we don't all live in the same house anymore,
Right.
like we did when we were, during our album years. But
Yeah.
we're trying to find a way to get together more often to record.
Is it
so
more-
I'd say by mid next year probably we'll have a new album. out.
Is it more the prog style or pop or a little of both? What style would you say?
Well, yeah, that's funny you should say that, because now I think we are comfortable putting it all together,
Right.
the prog and the pop together.
Right.
Not unlike Steely Dan,
Right.
who had those magnificent chord changes, but still at the essence had a pop tune.
Yeah, they had the
They were-
melodies. Right, the melodies.
Yeah.
Right.
And that Ambrosia's always been about melodic.
Right. Yeah.
Always.
We always, even our most far out prog tune, always had a song, a
Right.
melody and a song.
Yeah.
Right. Now, when you
So-
do the new album, is there going to be hints of this signature style in there, or is it going to be a totally different sound?
No, yeah, it's been years. It's been a few years, so there's going to be new influences for sure. But you can't. I don't think you can take away the essence of what we are.
Right.
I mean, especially when the three of us get together and play. I mean, it's funny when we play live. I mean, people notice right away the three original members. The sound of those three players together is like it takes you right back to where we were.
Right.
Oh, that's wow. That is such a wow factor.
And plus, you've gotten better. You've gotten better at being musicians too, probably after all these years too.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting idea too, because I hear things now that we did in the '70s,
Right.
and like live recordings and so forth.
Right.
And it's like I go, wow,
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. I don't play.
Yeah, I know
I
what
don't.
you mean.
But then you realize what you do now is maybe more refined, more I don't know, mature, whatever the word is. But then you go back in here and you go, wow, I kind of miss doing that. You start trying to do it again, if your body will let you.
Yeah, yeah.
Burley, let me ask you. And I noticed this, as a guy who grew up on the 70s and 80s music. In the 70s, when you were playing, essentially you're playing to one generation. Now, if you guys go out, you got 5 generations in front of you. How's that make you feel? That they know the stuff that you're doing, and they weren't even conceived at that point.
Yeah, that is a wonderful feeling, and it's very true. We see multi-generational audiences now. We see people our age and even older bringing their sons and daughters who are bringing their sons and daughters.
Right.
And it's fantastic. And what we really love is, like, sometimes we'll be playing like festivals or something like that, and we'll see a new band like creep on, a younger band creep on stage behind us and sit behind us, just to see, catch what catch the history of what we're doing. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
How much more difficult is it today to get an album released than it was back in the youthful days of
the
classic
business has
rock?
changed so much,
Yeah.
man. The business has changed so much.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think it's actually easier because you can
Platforms.
self-release and
Right.
self-promote and do all those things now, which of course takes much more work on the part of the artist. So
you get a
in
bigger
essence-
cut now, though. You're bigger cut now. Now you get the whole thing now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true to a point.
Right.
But then at some point, if you want the powers that be that still exist,
Right.
if you want to get national distribution or national airplay, or you still have to deal with the big boys.
Right.
And that costs money. So, but the DIY approach is very it's very handy. When you want to do something, you don't have to rely on getting the major deal.
Yeah. And plus, you have your own studio, which makes it a lot nicer, too.
Sure does.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's great. Yeah.
Now, are you all
Absolutely.
you producing your own music too, or do you have a producer that you like to work with in particular?
Well, I've done my own. My wife, who actually plays in Ambrosia now, she's a keyboard player and sings. We have a band called Tin Drum, and we've done 3 CDs ourselves, and 3 albums. And we had great, independent success.
Right.
So it's great. It's great because you can do anything. You just
Right.
have to be dedicated enough to put in time to promote it.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, which you certainly are with your background and the entire band's background too. So we've
Yeah.
got.
Thank you. Yeah.
But I'm telling you what, I have been a fan. I'm 61 years old, no secret. So I go back a
You're
long way
kid.
with Ambrosia.
You're just a kid.
Just a kid. But I go back such a long way with Ambrosia, Hey, what was... got any really crazy or favorite stories from the road from back in the day? Some of the craziest things you ever saw, maybe?
Tour bus stories.
Well, I mean, when you're on tour for 6 months on a bus, it's amazing the lengths you'll go to entertain yourself.
That's right.
Like we used to be driving down like freeways, 3 a.m, and decide to launch we had a keyboard tech that could build bombs. And we'd see if we could fire a trash can from one side of the freeway to the other. Stuff like that. Or we. I'm not promoting this or advising anyone.
Disclaimer.
Just some innocent shenanigans.
No, when I was
we were at a Holiday Inn, one of those circular ones that, 2-story, all glass windows facing the courtyard, and we tried to fire one of those trash cans up in the air, but this one didn't go up; it just went out.
Nice.
And it blew out about 16 windows.
Oh my God!
And luckily nobody got hurt, but we didn't make any money that night. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I destroyed many a hotel room I've destroyed in my past.
Oh,
Hey, Burley, has anybody come up to you and said that they fathered their children to your music?
Yes. Oh, no, you said it. We've met so many people. I mean, we probably met close to 50, 60 beautiful young ladies that come up and tell us their name is Ambrosia.
Right. Oh, there you go.
What a tribute.
Yeah, and we're very proud of that.
What a tribute that really is.
We used to, we used to do when I was in the band. We used to drive like in the middle of Kansas when the road just goes straight at night. And
Yeah.
we would just turn the lights out on the car and see how far we can go before we got off the road.
That's
how stupid
yeah.
things we used to do, man. When you're young like that, you're stupid. Do stupid shit.
That's Paul Veneer
yeah.
speaking. Was on the road many years ago with his band, and so he knows a lot of the goings on too.
I know how
That's
you
for
feel.
sure.
Oh yeah, it's amazing we used to have 2 rental cars, you know, like when we get to a town, you know, and if you were you'd forget about it if you were in the first car. But all of a sudden, you feel the second car pushing you out into the intersection on a red light. It's just insane stuff. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
We used to have this old UPS truck that an old Brockway, and we converted it into like a house. Had beds in it and everything, and the roadies would drive.
Oh, nice.
And we'd be in the back smoking our brains out. And they'd be in the roadies would be driving, and we'd just be carrying on, doing stupid shit, man, all the time.
You know what I did one time? I was on the road with Bob Levy. We were doing some comedy gigs, and we were traveling to Ohio. And he was passed out in the front seat sleeping. I'm driving. So I had to stop to go to the bathroom. So I stopped at this rest stop. And I said, I'm going to get this son of a bitch. Because we were always playing jokes on each other. So I pull up to a tree. Like right up on it. Like inches away with the lights on. And it's like a quarter to dead in the morning. So all of a sudden I start screaming and leaning on my horn like we're gonna hit the tree. He shit his pants. I thought he needed a diaper for the ride. He shit his pants so bad. He needed like 3 Xanax just to calm down.
Like you said, man,
That's
it's like you
fun.
said, Burley. You do a lot of crazy things to entertain yourself when you're on the road for a long time.
Oh yeah,
You do anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how many paternity suits over the years?
Oh no. We're pretty lucky in that regard. Yeah.
Right.
But
Hey, Burley, of all the bands that have opened for Ambrosia, or that Ambrosia may have opened for, are there any that stand out in particular? That just I had no idea they were going to become as big as they were, for instance.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, you know, we had Little River Band.
Oh, yeah.
Their first tour of the United States. They opened for us,
Right.
and I knew instantly they were going to become much bigger. You know, and they did. And also too, let's see who else. Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's
They
great.
opened for us, and you know, I could tell right away they're gonna.
Yeah.
And then and then our earliest, our first gig we ever did, or maybe our second gig. Our second gig was the Iowa State Fair,
Right.
where we opened for the Beach Boys, but who opened for us was Gerald Ford, the president.
Oh, jeez.
Oh wow, what did he do?
He fell off the stage.
He gave a speech. He gave a speech to it was like 50,000 people,
and
then we came on and played. So we always say Gerald Ford was our opening act.
So
Yeah, well, he was.
He was, yeah.
He put him to sleep, and then you had to wake him up, right?
Do you have any idea he would have gotten as big as he did?
That must have been pretty cool, though. I mean, meeting the president of the United States. Most people
It
don't
was-
get
it
that
was-
honor.
Yeah, it was nice.
And
Yeah, it was
certainly
great.
today, most
Yeah.
people don't want that honor.
No, I know.
I was on the website, and you guys are nowhere near the Northeast. What's going on, Burley? You got to come over here. so
Oh,
can-
we are. Oh, let's see. We were just up there. We were just up in New Hampshire.
Oh no, you
At
got to come to
Tupelo.
the New York City area. We don't do New Hampshire.
New Jersey. Gotta come to
Yeah,
Jersey.
you got to come to Jersey. What's you know?
Okay. I
Tell-
promise. We'll get there. We'll book it in January. We'll
Yeah,
get
tell
there.
John. Yeah, it's 0-degree weather. That's nice.
It'll be an outdoor
Make
venue.
it an indoor venue. It's fine.
Tell John Lappin to get his act together over there. whatever he's doing.
Okay, I will. Yeah.
No, but Burley, I just wanted to thank you. It was a real pleasure speaking to you, and I just want you to know you
Oh.
have an open invite anytime you want to come on, and share more tour bus stories and paternity suit stories and.
Yeah, we'll promote that new album when it comes out.
Yeah,
too,
definitely got to keep us in the loop on
Please,
that.
yeah.
Seriously.
Well, you know what? I'll get your email from John, and I'll send you the new tunes as
Cool.
they get
I would
done.
appreciate, and I'll put them out there and I want to make sure that everybody hears it because I know they're gonna love it once they hear it.
Yep.
Burley,
thank you so much.
Straight from the heart,
Yeah.
I just want you to know that this is the second time that I'll be able to tell my friends I've spoken to Burley Drummond, and sincerely, that means a lot to me.
Hopefully, you'll get to meet
Oh,
him in
thank you.
January.
Yes, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Now, our luck,
It's
it'll
been
be
my
like
pleasure.
a 10-inch snowstorm when that comes.
That's all right.
He'll still go though.
I
He'll
will.
still.
I
Well,
will.
ambrosia is white. It's
Yeah,
a white
that's
thing.
right.
It's a white dessert. Burley, can you do us a favor before you leave? Can you do a station ID for us?
Sure, I'd love to.
Okay, just introduce
Yep,
yourself.
have
And,
to-
yeah, just introduce yourself and then say you're listening to the Animal House radio show on the Hamilton Network, if you can remember that.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay. Take your
Hi. Hi, this is Burley Drummond from Ambrosia, and you're listening to the Animal House radio show on the Hamilton Network.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All
Perfect,
right.
brother.
First take.
Burley, you're
Who says you're
amazing.
just a drummer? Who says that?
Burley, this time
My
when you
wife.
do come back
No,
to the
just kidding.
Jersey area, I'm going to actually meet you and make sure I get to make it a point to meet you this time. It is such an honor to have you with us, my brother.
And we'll have
Oh,
the
thank you.
restraining
Thank you so
order for you
much.
to sign once you do.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
Burley
you, guys.
Drummond, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Burley.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
All right. That was great. I love hearing about, different artists and how they, just the process they go through. It's amazing. That's one thing I always wanted to do is be able to, I could never sing. I would always love to sing, but I always wanted to be able to play an instrument like a guitar, like Slash or
I heard you play the
somebody.
flute.
Yeah, the skin flute.
Oh, no, I can hear you singing. Carlo Mia, why?
Dave, I gotta ask
See,
you a
I do the
question.
singing because I can't play an instrument. That's
That's what I'm saying. Like Rocky.
singing's easier.
Why do you box? Because I can't sing or dance. Dave, I heard you were talking about that Ozark. I see that all the time. Is that a good show? Should I
Really good
start
show.
watching it?
He loves it.
Yeah.
How far? Like how many seasons has it been?
2.
Oh,
20
it's
episodes.
still early yet, so.
Yeah.
Because I had to do last year. I knew about it, but I didn't really. I discovered Ray Donovan, and now I'm hooked on it.
I didn't get into it.
Really? Oh my! What happened to Black
Well,
Jesus?
I also started late as well, so like a year ago, and I didn't start from the beginning. So I was like, let me see it. Because if it's that good, even catching in the middle, you're like, all right, now I got to see the
You'll
rest
get
of it.
hooked.
yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
you'll want to
It's
go
really
back
good.
and
Yeah,
see
I can't
what
wait to go
happened.
back.
Right.
But if I turn something on, I'm like, yeah, doesn't. Walking Dead did the same thing for me. I'm like, yeah, don't like it.
I could.
Breaking Bad.
I was.
Eh.
See, I couldn't get into The Walking Dead. I know so many people.
I don't
are.
know what
I'm
it
like,
is. Dude, every time I turned it
can't-
on, it must have been like that 10 minutes where they're just walking. I'm like, all right, I can't watch
I
this
just
one.
have no interest in that. I never was into that zombie stuff. I'm into a good
I am.
horror movie.
I'm
But-
into the
but
classic.
see, I'm into horror movies, and I was cool with the zombie
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Every time I turned
Night
it
of
on,
the
I was
Living
not
Dead.
entertained.
Night of the
Right.
Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, like that
Oh,
stuff's
yeah.
fine. Even there was it wasn't, I don't know. if
World
it's
War Z.
considered- No, not so much a horror movie. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he played the father of, I can't remember the name of the movie. His daughter gets infected.
Erasure,
Was that it?
I think.
Eraser.
His daughter ends up getting the
I'm
zombie
thinking
disease, and
Six
he
Day, I don't
refuses
know.
to let her be
They'll
quarantined.
start running into each other for me after a while.
But it was more of like a father protecting his daughter who was sick rather than it be focused on the
right.
zombie thing. And like that, The Walking Dead, I just can't. I can't.
I wanted to get into it, and I tried, and I kept trying. Like, all right, maybe today will be the day.
Maybe-
and I turned
maybe
it on.
not.
I'm like, yeah, no, I'm done.
Oh, that's funny.
It's funny how people get hooked on some of these shows to Game of Scones or whatever. Thrones.
Game of
is another
Thrones.
That's
one, yeah.
another thing. I missed the bus on that. But I loved Ray
I
Donovan.
watched last season. I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything before that. I watched last season. Good. Power. I just started watching because my son was in an episode where his scene got cut.
Right.
Still watched that whole season just because for the hopes of seeing my son for 30 seconds. And I was like, wow, I actually enjoy this show.
Yeah, I watched.
And
the
that was
stupid
season
program.
4, and I was able to get into it because it's easy to pick up on the storyline. There's good writing behind it. I can enjoy it.
I'm still
Yeah.
far
You throw
behind
dribble
my
around. I'm not going to watch it.
my favorite series is still Law and Order SVU.
Oh,
I
yeah.
still watch that.
A good friend of mine's in that show.
Wait, who?
Thomas
Belzer?
Bruno. He does play a lot of character. He's,
I,
he's a
um,
recurring character.
I like stupid shows like Suits on USA. I think
Love
that's a great
Suits
show.
also.
I love that show. Where Harvey Specter is my idol, man.
And
He-
Donna.
Donna, yeah.
How
Look at-
awesome! I'm just saying her skill set is amazing.
Oh, she's
not just being attractive. I'm talking
she
about her
is a
skill set. on the
badass.
show.
She is a
I like
badass.
girls' skill sets.
Oh, she's just a badass. She's like sharp as she should be like a mob guy on a show.
And what's her name too? The one that's Lewis's woman there, Gertrude.
Oh yeah, Penelope.
Gertrude.
Penelope was it Penelope or Gertrude?
The large lady.
Yeah.
Who named
Oh
somebody?
yeah.
Who would name that kid Gertrude?
Yeah, she tells him.
Well, she's an older gal.
Lewis, I just want to smack him though.
Most times, but I get
He's
it.
good at what he does, but he's annoying.
Yeah.
You know. I wish they would bring Jessica
I think
back.
he's typecast like that though. Did you see him in Hostel?
Oh yeah.
Same character.
He was in another TV show, and I can't remember what I saw him in, but he was the same way. Damn.
Yeah, SVU Suits, love it. At USA Network, you got me
Well,
hooked.
I found out, my brother pointed this out to me. The guy who I related to, Stabler, who was
Yeah.
on the line, that is the same actor who played Casey Jones in the original Ninja Turtles movie.
Yes.
And I had no idea. He pointed out. I said, "No, it's." Oh, yes, it is.
He also played the old creepy guy in Harold and Kumar Go to White
Yes,
Castle.
the guy that was oozing from his
Yeah.
neck. Yeah.
Wait, no.
Yeah, that's him. Really good.
See,
makeup.
now I got to rewatch it and go, oh.
Christopher Maloney was in a lot of things. I can't think
First
of
and 10, I think, right?
Yes, he played.
What was the prison
Oz?
movie? Oz.
Oz,
yes.
yeah.
He was, yes.
Yeah, that's where I first saw him. Oz.
Him and also Wong was in that too, in Oz.
Who?
The guy that played.
Wong.
Yes, B.D. Wong. Yes, he was.
Oh my God, B.D. Wong, you're right.
Yes, absolutely.
I watch this show, and no one else in my family can stand it.
You know what? I don't get that. Stranger Things.
See, I was told, they're like, oh, you grew up in the 80s, you'll love it.
Everybody's raving
But
about
you know
this
something?
show.
The very little that they allude to in the 80s is not enough to get me hooked because it's the 80s. I've seen all of season 1, part of season 2. I don't dislike it. I'm not all about it.
Right.
But if it's on, I'll watch it.
What is it, like they're wizards or something?
No.
No, it's like a sci-fi type thing.
Sci-fi,
but one
fantasy.
of my daughter met one of the actors.
Yeah, because he lives down in Egg Harbor.
Yeah.
Doesn't he live in Jersey?
Yeah, and he's very
Nice
modest.
kid.
My daughter's never seen the show.
And
She
this
caught
summer,
it,
his band played over at Stone Pony.
but
Oh,
he was
really?
he was in a stage play. He didn't get a
Yeah.
major part, but like my daughter saw him at some like school event or
Nice
something.
local kid.
And she goes over and she goes, "Are you the kid in Stranger Things?" And he was like, "Oh, here we go." Thinks she's a fangirl. He goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah, I haven't seen the show." She goes, "I saw the trailer and I recognize you." He goes, "Wait, you recognize me from the trailer?" And she goes, "Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet." And the two of them just sat and just talked about things they had in common. And it seemed like, from what she told me, he was so relieved to just
From what I heard,
talk to
Was he
somebody.
almost
that
your
doesn't matter.
son-in-law?
He's the nicest guy.
What's that? Yeah, no.
He's almost your son-in-law?
Yeah, no.
Hey,
Not yet.
Riggs,
But
why'd
you
you call him my son-in-law, Riggs?
Your baby's about to have my baby.
That was so funny. Why are you calling my son-in-law, Riggs? What was I going to say? Tim, you ready to do your thing?
Man, I'm always ready.
All
to
right,
do
it's
my thing. I
time
just can't find a
for-
Your
woman to
voice
do it
is
with.
so soothing, by the way.
It is. I just
Tell
want
my
to.
exes.
I just want to go over there and give Tim a nice, soothing hug.
I'll take it in the backside at this point, believe me.
I can't come unless I
That's
hear
not too
Tim.
soothing.
There's no drapes around, so Tim's not going to have fun.
I got
All right.
skin tag.
Watch the
Here's-
flag.
Here's our friend Tim Eli with the Way the F Out There news.
This is incredible stuff this week, folks. Take this headline first of all. Thief takes off with cheese grater.
You
Claims.
got my iPad up?
I didn't know he was dripping.
I'm sorry.
There's
sorry.
Scene
another
from Leave
good
It
show.
to Beaver. What
Take
the hell
two.
is this? Thief takes off with cheese grater. Claims it's for the greater good. Floyd County, KY, I guess that's home of the jelly, in an incident that a Kentucky man blames on methamphetamine. The man's cousin allegedly tried to steal seemingly random items, including a cheese grater, an empty bottle of Lysol, Irish Spring soap, strawberry Pop-Tarts, a turkey baster, Scotch tape, Emetrol nausea medication, a thimble, a jar of adobo seasoning, and a pair of pink fuzzy slippers that were meant for ladies. Neighbors.
so.
Now it's a party.
No, I'm telling you, by itself, too. Neighbors informed Mason Tackett that his cousin Philip Higgins had been seen carrying items out of his house. Who steals a cheese grater? What got me the most was my soap. He stole my soap. Who steals soap? Tackett said. After his neighbor's warnings, Tackett headed home to confront his cousin. When I finally got down there to the house to look and see what happened, the door was standing wide open. Out of nowhere, my cousin leapt out at me wearing nothing but a large towel around his neck, as if it were a cape of a superhero. The cousin began to swing wildly at Tackett, screaming obscenities.
What was he swinging? He's not wearing anything but the towel.
Oh, he was swinging something about the size of a can of Pringles, I guess. But anyway, Never fear, the super dude is here to save our city from the dreaded vermin scum. Tackett immediately tried to defend himself and grabbed a nearby umbrella and began to swing back at Higgins and attempted to jab in his private area to slow him down. After several minutes of the struggle, Tackett was able to subdue his cousin in a sort of sleeper hold till police were on the scene. Tackett says he cannot understand why Higgins took some of the items he allegedly did. It's the most random assortment of things. Must have been a bad batch of methamphetamine. It was determined that Higgins had been in a bad drug binge for 3 days prior to this incident. Moral of the story is never take meth on an empty stomach. Higgins is being held on $25,000 bond. He is charged with receiving stolen property and being a convicted felon with a firearm. Tackett says he plans to file additional charges against his cousin. A preliminary hearing is set for Tuesday.
That really grates on me.
I'm telling you. Convicted felon with a firearm. He had methamphetamine and he was naked, so...
The nerve of a felon touching a gun. What do they
How
think?
dare he have meth on an empty stomach, though? I mean...
But was it attached to his leg? Like
Was he
Bernie
really
Capel?
naked if he had those slippers?
Made for ladies on top of it, those fuzzy slippers. Dude,
No,
that's
you don't get the
incredible.
men-made one.
Well, he didn't want to stand out.
What else you got for us, Tim?
We got, hey, dig this headline too. Again with meth. McChickens and meth don't mix.
There you go.
Police were called to the scene of a very weird occurrence this week. They responded to a call by the manager of the Fullerton McDonald's, who was besieged by a clearly intoxicated driver who was menacing them via the drive-thru window. According to store employees, the man pulled up and was belligerent from the very start and was slurring his words. He was shouting into the speaker in inaudible food items and then asked if Serena Williams was available to come over his house for some private tennis lessons.
Nice.
And then used some profane language of what he would like to do to Serena sexually.
Jesus
He then ordered 2 McChickens, 2 apple pies, and a Shamrock Shake. The driver managed to make it to the
Shamrock
pay
Shakes. I'm all about the Shamrock Shakes.
with Serena, no less. The driver managed to make it to the pay window and handed them the money. After receiving his food, he pulled up a few feet, jumped out of his car, and proceeded to jump it down on the hood of his car, screaming obscenities and other expletives. When cops arrived, they found the driver passed out on the front seat of his car with a McChicken hanging out of his mouth, clutching a teddy bear with his pants halfway pulled down. The McDonald's, where the incident occurred, is located in the 100 block of East Chapman Avenue.
So make sure you take your children there immediately.
No further information has been released by police. Moral of the story, McChickens and meth.
I almost got killed by that truck.
All right, so you can't have meth on an empty stomach, but you can't have McDonald's before taking meth.
How about a round of applause for Mr. Eli on that one?
I gotta tell you guys something. I mean, at this point in my life,
I give that 1 carton of eggs up.
This crystal meth thing doesn't sound like, it's a put down or anything. It's like, hey,
party.
Well, if you're trying to lose weight, why not?
The best part of that story was the Shamrock Shake.
He's ordering for Serena Williams.
I am dying to have one of those. I haven't had one of those in
Right, I can't wait till the end of February.
I know. They should have it all year round. That and the cherry pie. They only used to do it on Washington's birthday. But anyway.
How come we got a Columbus Day? Because he supposedly discovered America, although the Vikings were here first. How come we don't have like a Neil Armstrong Day because he discovered the moon or something?
How about a Neil and Bob Day?
Well, because we have Teddy Kennedy Day for the day before.
How about Ted
You mean
Bundy
Splish
Day?
Splash, his favorite song?
He didn't discover the moon. It was always there.
What about
Kennedy's favorite song was "Baby, You Can Drive My Car."
What about Ted Bundy Day?
Yeah, right.
Hey, Jack, Cliff, do you have a website?
Facebook,
right?
no.
Just go on my Facebook under Jack Marwin and you can say
Cliff!
John Wayne Gacy Clown School.
Clifford, the Big Red Magician, is going to be at the Ren Fair on September
Next Saturday and Sunday.
15th and 16th.
15th and 16th, and I will be at Catch a Rising Star the 14th and the 15th. So,
Hey, what else we got coming up?
You can't work with me Friday, huh?
no, I could. But it's- I'll
Tomorrow
get
night,
home,
Broadway Comedy
You
Club.
don't get off the stage till 3 o'clock anyway.
The
What are you doing,
29th.
You doing Howard Johnson again? Yeah, I'll come by afterwards.
That was the third baseman on the Mets.
I'll make sure I get some cheesecake. from the
One-man
kitchen.
show.
That's right, Howard
Huh?
Johnson.
Howard Johnson.
So, Cliff, you ready to play a game with us?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We have a
Okay,
new
you go
game.
hide.
Yeah, we'll come find you. I promise.
Suppose I can't find you.
Oh, keep going.
I'll be behind the couch.
What do we got?
This is a new game. You remember we had "Oh My God, I Know This Song"?
Yes.
We played that. This is called "Know Your Role."
Okay.
All right. So let me just set this up here.
I'll explain it to you.
It starts with The Rock.
He's going to play something from a
Sesame.
movie. You're going to know the movie probably. You're going to know who the person playing the part is, but what's the name of the character he's playing or she is playing?
So not the actor or actress, the name of the
they're playing.
character.
Yes. Know your role.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. It's time to see if
you know your damn role.
Shut
Okay.
your damn mouth.
All right, here we go. Now everybody can play along at home, and Ruben, you can get on the mic and play and say, "I know what that is, Carlos. It's Christopher Lloyd." No. Wow, rest in peace, John McCain. That's too funny. Okay. All right. All right. Are we all ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the first one.
Didn't do anything. I mean, I didn't order you or anybody. I only told Andy Stone that you had a lot of heat on you, and that was a problem.
You want me to get out of my own fucking town?
Yeah, I said let the bullshit blow over.
Wait, say that again, Tim.
Sam Ace Rothstein.
Hold on.
From Casino. From
Number
Casino.
one handicapper in the game.
From Casino.
Andy Stoner, yeah.
From Casino.
Hold on.
So they're talking about.
Winner.
Wow, that's a slow judge.
No, that was Bernay.
All right. Next one. That was Ace Rothstein from Casino. All right. Here's the next one.
I'm not about to revamp the entire judicial process
Oh,
just
damn.
because you
Oh, my cousin Vinny.
unique
Yep.
Right.
of defending
Judge.
What was Fred Gwynn's name?
Do it
Judge what?
now. Get the words out of your mouth.
Oh, Judge Reinhold.
I'm not guilty. I don't want to hear commentary, argument, or opinion.
Judge
If I
Chamberlain.
hear anything other than guilty or not guilty,
Yes,
That was his first
That's my
name.
girlfriend, Your Honor. Well, that explains
I
the
don't even want
hostility.
to clear your throat. I hope I've been clear. Now, how do your clients plead?
That's his first name. You got a second name for me?
Yeah, Chamberlain Holler.
Chamberlain Haller is correct.
What was it?
Chamberlain Holler.
I never remembered that. I never
Judge-
remember the characters' names.
All rise as the judge enters. Chamberlain Haller. That was his name. Okay, here's the next one.
Please point down that the man he's holding two fingers up.
These Utes right here.
Your Honor, please.
And just
That's a false argument.
Dinosaurus line. Da 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 da. And please welcome the king. Dun, dun, dun.
okay. It's Robin Williams from what do you call it? From Mrs. Doubtfire.
That is correct.
Hey,
What was his name?
Doubtfire.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
What
All
what
right.
was his character's name though?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, that's the alter ego.
No,
What was his name?
Yeah, the father's when he's
Yeah, when he's himself. What's his name?
Damn
it.
That's the key. You have to see. This is what we try to do here.
It's
we
hard.
try to see.
It's hard to
Daniel Hillard.
Daniel
That's it.
Hillard is correct.
That's right.
Dave,
Damn
you're
it,
on
Dave.
fire. Boy, you can Google them with the best of them.
Gotta love
quick.
the IMDb app.
Wait, are you?
Not for the first one. I knew the first one.
All right. No, he's got them all right so far.
Okay.
Except one where...
He Googled.
The defense is wrong.
Wrong! Okay, here we go.
I think this building should be condemned. There's serious metal fatigue in all the
Ghostbusters.
load-bearing members. The wiring is substandard.
Harold Ramis. What the hell was his
completely
name? Doctor
inadequate for our
something.
power needs.
Dr. Egon
Neighborhood
Spangler.
is like demilitarized.
Is that Spangler?
Egons.
There you go. Here we go. Next one.
I Welsh? You Welsh. Yeah, Clemenza promised them Ugatas.
Godfather.
Frankie Pentangeli.
Hated those son of a bitch.
That was just on today.
Frankie Pentangeli.
That was just on today. That scene was just on today.
Chich Laporte.
I went to my friend's pizza place, and he had that on the TV.
Yeah,
that
here,
scene
look.
was on just now.
Nice.
Today.
Here we go.
Frankie
I'm gonna-
Pentangeli.
I love this scene. Let's, I'm going to let it play out. Here we go.
I Welsh? You Welsh. Yeah, Clemenza promised them Ugatas. Clemenza promised them nothing. He hated those son of a bitches more than I do. They feel cheated. Mike, you're sitting high up in the Sierra Mountains, and you're drinking, what's he drinking?
Champagne cocktails.
Champagne cocktail. And you're passing judgment on how I run my thing.
Your family?
Tua famiglia ancora porta il nome di Corleone. E tu sempre devi rispettare i cosi di famiglia.
Ammonitemi, non mangio car, non mangio Las Vegas.
Non mangio Hyman Roth. I got fudge on guts.
Colin Hyman Roth.
All right, we got two
I'll
more.
tell you something, Carlo. Clemenza was supposed to have that role carried over. He wanted too much money, and they
Yeah,
said,
they killed him
you know,
off.
hey, Ekekerion, you know?
That was my nickname growing up.
Clemenza?
Yeah, because I was a big
But
kid.
he did. They wanted him back. He wanted too much money, so they wrote in Frankie, who was a great character.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
Here
Why
we
did they
go.
call you Clemenza? Because you took the cannolis?
No, because
What
my mother came home one day and she saw me stirring the gravy pot with boxer shorts on, and she said, "Oh, Clemenza stirring the gravy."
What were you stirring
I thought
it
that
with?
was Michael that had to stir.
My dick. No.
The sauce tastes salty.
Yeah, right. No. Tim, Hollywood Nights does have a little wang in it.
I've had this flavor in my mouth before. I can't place it.
Here we got 2 left. Here we go.
He's doing it with his dick.
phony baloney job, gentlemen. We must do something.
Ah, Blazing Saddles. The governor. The gov.
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of him.
I didn't get a harumph.
The governor Petamane.
Yes.
Yes.
George J. LePetamane.
William J. LePetamane. Close enough.
The defense is wrong.
Okay. Last one. This should be easy.
All right. You proved your point. You broke into my vault. Congratulations. You're a dead man.
That's
Al Capone.
Scarface.
no, Ocean's 11.
Oh, it's Ocean's
May I
11.
ask how you
Oh.
And that's Andy Garcia.
That's Andy
Yes.
Garcia.
allow you to parade bags full of
I don't remember his name, though.
casino doors?
What was his character? He played.
I always
all-
know the first 2 parts. I just can't figure out the
It
characters.
sounded like
He's got-
Joey Lake.
I was way off.
He's a cousin of Danny Ocean.
No, he's got a woman's. It could be his name could be
Charlie.
a woman's name too.
I have no idea.
Lynn.
No, his it was a famous patriot with his last name.
Brady.
Who was a traitor.
Arnold.
Oh.
No. No, first name.
I'm saying last name is Arnold.
Right, but I'm.
Oh,
what was-
Mata.
Mr.
Mata Hari.
Mister.
What was Arnold's first name?
Arnold.
Who was someone that was never in my living room?
Who was
Nice.
that guy you just mentioned, Arnold? He had a first name, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember.
That's his last name. Arnold.
It's OSCAR.
What was his first name
I don't know.
in history?
Danny.
He's a very famous.
No, Danny
guy.
was George
Benedict.
Clooney.
Oh, Terry
Johnson.
Benedict. Terry Benedict.
Terry Benedict
that's
is correct.
He's very fast with that phone.
Dan's good.
Oh boy. So, that,
Wow.
Yeah.
so Cliff, break it down for us. What can we expect at the Ren Fair for this?
But we can't get in.
There's there are some returning acts. Guy by the name of Pokey Poke. He does the fire breathing, and
Hokey
fire
Pokey?
juggling.
Puts his hand in. Pulls it out.
There, myself obviously. The Jousters are coming back, which is if you've never seen,
I
it's
love
not
that.
it's
The
not
Black Knight.
choreographed jousting. Like if you go to like the New York Ren Fair, which I've been to the Pennsylvania Ren Fair. They're
Right.
great. They're choreographed shows. The difference is the jousting that's actually happening at the Lakewood Ren
real.
Fair. They didn't choreograph it. It's
Someone
sport.
can get
It's
hurt.
just like
Oh,
medieval
no,
times.
and they do. Last year, the one
Yeah.
guy was jousting, and he had just recently dislocated his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
it was,
I saw that. It was at the
it
Black
was-
those
Knight.
things don't
yeah,
bend
it
much.
was so no. It
They don't
was,
bend much.
and when they do, it's
even worse.
it's very intense.
Just like medieval times, right? Real?
Yeah.
All right.
No,
They're
it's
not jousting with
actual
some sticks, they're jousting with their dicks.
I had a friend that just
Even
got
better.
out of the hokey pokey rehab.
Joust stocking.
He turned himself around, and that's what it's all
That's good.
about.
That's my mother-in-law singing. I feel the
one
earth
of the-
move under my feet.
So that's next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and you're going to be closing the show.
Yep. There's one new group that I'm aware of. They
Girl Scouts.
we got a drag group that will be performing
Racers?
in the middle. Yeah, in the middle of the In the middle, I think they're getting my old time slot, which is the middle of the day, and they. I've seen videos of these guys perform, and they're phenomenal.
Are there any groups you're not aware of?
I do have the whole entertainment
Hey,
list.
drag racing really is incredible. Those guys can run fast in those stilettos,
Yeah,
man.
they are. Yeah, it's incredible. It's amazing how they have that kind
Yeah.
of coordination.
Jack, if they want to hire you, would they go to your, what's your Facebook page?
Please.
Or how can they,
you can
contact you?
email me at jackmorrowan@gmail.com.
That's-
You can go to
Spell it.
Yeah,
JACK
Right.
Oh, Jack. Okay.
Yep, MORROWIN.
Tomorrow, like tomorrow, Morrow.
Yep.
Okay.
At gmail.com, or go right to Facebook. Look me up under Jack Morrowan, and I respond. I'm the only one that runs the Facebook page. There's no one else running it for me.
And I'll tell you right now, he's perfect. If you have a private party and you want to have he's a great magician.
Yes, he is.
Jack's a great
And if
magician.
he doesn't respond that day, he'll respond on the morrow.
Yes, I will.
And the day of the show, he'll disappear.
He doesn't answer me. He answers Jerry Petito's messages. He doesn't answer.
Well,
mine.
she's sending from 17 different shows.
She
so-
also types in all caps, so I just feel she's yelling at me, and if I don't respond, it's going to continue.
Yeah.
Like,
What
why
is she,
I asked her once. I said, "Why you type in all caps?"
Yeah, I
And she
don't know.
responded, "Cause I can't turn it off." No, she just it's every message is all caps.
I do that. I do that a lot.
It's always urgent.
I can't say that because I do that a lot with some of my
I do it a
messages.
lot, too.
But I want to thank you for coming in, and you know, Cliff, you can come in anytime you want. Hang
You have
out
an open
with
door,
us.
you know.
Doors open. Doors
If
open.
you're around,
You can leave,
next-
too.
If you're around next Wednesday, I recommend. Well, Dave, you're not going to be here, right? The
no,
12th.
No, the week after.
Oh, the week. Oh, next week, and I just confirmed this.
Yes.
The 19th.
Steve Perry from Journey.
Wow, he's got a long way to go.
Jerry.
That journey.
He's got a long.
I'm mad that I missed the day you had Ralph Macchio on.
Oh,
I
me
saw
too.
that. Did you guys know that they released the Cobra
Oh,
Kai?
Cobra Kai, love it.
And I'm like,
talking about, yeah.
I said this. My wife, like, in the '80s, there's two movies like Back to the Future and Karate Kid.
Yeah.
My wife has not seen either one, and
Wow.
I recently
Have
I
you
found
choked
this
her
out-
into submission
I just
yet?
I just looked at her. I said, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
How have you not seen either one? Just the first one. I don't even nothing. And
Nice
I-
ground
they-
for an annulment.
I know. She hasn't even she couldn't understand why I was excited. I came up I saw all the advertisements came up on my YouTube feed like Cobra Kai and it's Johnny and Ralph. I was like,
Yeah, the Karate Kid and Ralph Macchio.
I'm getting so excited, and I'm trying to tell my wife, I'm like, it's 30 years after, and she's going, I never saw the original movie,
No, man.
and I went,
Hey, Jack.
no,
Jack, you got to do is you got to date night with your wife.
and make her
Back to
watch.
the Future, Karate Kid, and parts Back to the Futures 2 and 3.
2 and 3, yes.
That's a long fucking date.
Yeah.
You're gonna take
That's a lot of time to spend sitting on the couch.
You're
for a
gonna
minute.
take.
Jack, it's going to be cold this winter. You might get some snow. Perfect day to sit in.
There you go. There you go.
A lot of
That's
popcorn.
right.
I
Yep,
just
lot of
wanted
popcorn.
to. I just want to give you a little advice. I wouldn't take advice from a man who's Christopher Lloyd has a restraining order on. So I don't know if you want to take
Money.
All right,
But
let's.
Jack, wait, Jack. Have you ever seen the YouTube parodies where they show why Ralph Macchio's the bad guy?
Yes,
They are amazing.
The theory's like how he was the actual bully.
Yeah.
and I've seen them, and I'm like. Part of me is like, no, and then the other part of me is like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
This actually makes sense.
Yeah, he's being a jerk.
Yeah, it's like walk into the bathroom, sprayed him with the water. I'm like, he wasn't going near you.
Yeah.
And then they all jumped.
And that's
your
why
ass,
Billy Zapka
and
is the
they're-
Karate Kid, not Ralph Macchio.
He was a great interview. He was a great interview.
Yeah, he was. Really, I enjoyed it very much.
But we got Steve. Hey, Carlo, that's major because Journey is still awesome.
And he's
Yes,
coming
sure.
out with
It's
a
still
new
awesome. So
album.
to have
Can we
Steve
get that
Perry-
Filipino guy?
I can try and get Arnell Pineda, sure. You know, it's nothing.
So this is pretty big, man. Push this major, folks. Come on.
All
Armed
right,
Forces
so-
Radio. This is where it's at.
I got a couple of announcements. I want to thank our two guests, Burley Drummond and Bernie Capel.
Yeah.
Fabulous interviews.
Yep.
I want to thank Jack Marwin, our buddy Cliff, for coming in. And we hope he has a great show next weekend. A couple of things to mention. This Saturday, September 8th, at the Vibe, the Pure Event Center in Amboy, South Amboy.
Walking
Freestyle.
distance.
It's an it's right down by your house. It's an after summer freestyle event with George Lamont, Lizette Melendez, Taina, Joe Zangi, and Coro. Definitely go and check that out. El Rene Promotions.
Well, Coro, I'm in.
I know Jose very well. I know him since 1990. Great guy. What?
Peasy's there.
No, that's for us on the 28th. I'm gonna be with John over in the other show.
When's Peasy coming in?
He's gonna probably come in next week or the week after.
Nice. Hopefully next week.
I will try to ask. I'll ask Elliot if we can bring him in.
He'll come in between shows. He does like 4 gigs a day.
Yeah.
If you feel like going to a comedy show tonight, you don't want to go see a freestyle show, Catch a Rising Star in Princeton, Artie Lang and Bob Levy, great.
That's gonna be a great
that's
show.
big.
Dynamic. I might go down here to say hi to Artie because I haven't seen him in a while.
When is this?
This Saturday.
Oh,
At
okay.
the
The 8th.
Catch
in
a Rising
Princeton.
Star.
The 8th, yes.
A lot of entertainment going on the next couple weekends.
Yeah. And then okay. And then after the week after that, the
You're off
14th
next
and
week.
15th, I'll be at the Catch a Rising Star in Princeton as well.
And who's with you?
Nobody. He's just going there. to hang out.
I paid the truth. I have no idea. I said no. I never heard of the kid. He's Brian something.
Brian Vallone?
No, some kind of like Russian name,
Oh, him.
Oh, Wakanov.
something like that. But
We'll just make something up that sounds foreign. It'll work.
let's go.
Something with a backwards 3. I don't
What do we
know.
got coming
Brian
up?
Wakanov.
Listen, nothing as big as C. Perry, for real.
Really?
3 weeks from this weekend, the 29th, Carlo Bellerio. Headlining.
Yeah.
City Streets, East Windsor.
We're gonna
9
turn
p.m.
in.
show.
Are we sure it's open?
Dave Hodge on the show. Randy Lupo headlining the Carlo
Wild
Bellerio.
thing.
Yeah, I'm looking
29th, 9 p.m. City Streets.
Absolutely.
No cover charge. Call ahead and make a reservation.
Absolutely. And do you need a sound system for that night, or you want me to bring?
Got a sound system. I do. Yeah.
You sure? Because
Yeah.
I read a really good one. You sure they ain't like Mr. Microphone?
Hey, I got news for you. If you don't mind lugging it around, bring it. I know your sound system's good.
Yeah. No. So all right. Yeah.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Jack?
You won't need one for there.
No.
It's a small room. You don't need
Once
whatever they have.
again,
It'll be fine.
The Ren Fair this weekend.
15th and 16th. So I
15th
think
and
it's next weekend.
All right, go check out Jack Marwin. He's going to close the show. He's a very, very talented young man.
Thank you very much.
Good friend, and you will not be disappointed. Paul,
you won't.
you're doing Howard Johnson's this Friday night.
Next Friday, the 14th.
Next Friday night, and Dave, Uncomfortably Funny podcast.
That's on Monday. Tomorrow night, Broadway Comedy Club. Monday night, Uncomfortably Funny. Our part 1 of our second anniversary show we're doing in studio, and the week after, part 2, we're doing live from RTB Lounge in South Amboy, beautiful South Amboy, New Jersey.
How come I'm never invited?
You're invited to both.
Okay.
You're all invited to both.
Definitely next Friday, come to the Howard Johnson's if you're around, because that's going to be one of my last shows.
How come?
You said that.
He's
You said the
retiring.
last show was your last.
And it was
show.
my last show. This is my next another show.
He's like Barbara Streisand.
It's my farewell tour.
I'm done. That's it.
I'm going until I die.
I mean it this time. You meant it last year, Paul. I'm serious. No, but I want to thank everybody. Thank Jack Marlin for coming in. Tim Eli, Dave for coming in. I always enjoy when you guys are here. We'll see you all next week with Steve Perry. Have a great night. This is the Animal
I
House
just want to
Radio
say,
Show.
do not drive in the mud.
This is the Animal House Radio Show, and don't drive in the mud.
Good night.
Good night. Hey, Bert.